Here's a message of importance to millions of people who are continually pale and washed out, weak and run down. Doctors will tell you that these conditions are often caused by a deficiency of iron. The iron you need to keep you physically fit and mentally alert. Medical studies show that 2 out of 3 women and many, many men lack the daily iron your body requires in a form your body can easily use and put to work. Every dose gives you more than your daily minimum iron requirement.
We are awake, we are awake, we are not alone. We are striving for more.
So if you're not getting the iron your body needs,
We are awake, we are not alone.
if you feel weak, run down, and are easily upset,
We are striving for more.
start taking iron today.
Happy Friday, my friend. I'm starting off fresh and I feel good. I look good. I smells good. I am good.
Thank God it's Friday.
It's Friday, my dudes.
Oh, yeah, it's Friday, my dudes, and the TGIF to you all. We have got an amazing show for you tonight. We have guests galore. So before we jump into it with them, let's say hello to the panel. We'll start off with the lady because, well, it's chivalrous. Her name is Cammie Nodell. You might know her from her channel, Aisling717 on YouTube. Cammie, how are you, my dear? Besides muted, I mean, how are you? Nope. We'll just stick with muted. No,
Perhaps gone even is an option.
Muted's good. I'll ask to unmute, see if that helps. In the meantime, we'll just head on over there to say hello to Mr. Walter Johnson. You might recognize him.
Hey, I'm here. It's
There
well.
he
I'm unmuted, and it's Walt's turn.
All right, we'll come back to you. Let's say hello to you. Just after we
No,
say-
hot potato,
No, I
baked
did
Cammie.
it. I
Hot potato.
did it.
Hot
I
potato.
did it.
Hot potato.
I did it.
I'm
I found
here.
it was behind 5 screens. Bye.
Well, hey, you know how that goes. If you open too many tabs, you get punished.
Ain't that the
The
way?
tab gods smite you.
Smite thee. Yes, they do. Let me go ahead and...
Well, we're both here, and we got a lot going. So why not just say, hey, you know what I was doing this morning? I told you all about it. Me and Josh had a great time without Zack. You know what I'm thinking, Zack? No, I'm kidding. It was fucking tragedy without you. I had to talk
Brutal.
and stuff. I had to talk and actually not type, and it was horrible. So please don't ever go anywhere again. I can't do it without you.
Yeah, like he expected me to pick up the slack. The hell?
I know. It was like every time I stopped, there was nobody there. I'm like, God damn, this is horrible. Where is Zack?
That's right. The Zack to whom we are referring is the one and only Zachary Zabala. He's got a channel on YouTube called Good Times for All.
Roy.
I'm not going to spell it, so you can't find it. So we'll just leave it at that. Zachary, how you feeling? You get some good sleep in?
Yeah, I did. I mean, it was no odd Thursday night. You know, I was up till like 1 o'clock and done that before. You know, get a few hours of sleep, do the show, take a couple hour nap. Good. But Thursday, Darren asked me, hey, will you make sure I'm up at 1:30? I have a dentist appointment and I want to get up blah, blah, blah. Cause he's got crazy odd hours. I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. And like an idiot, for some reason, I erased my alarm, my 4:40 alarm that goes off every Tuesday and Friday to get me up for the show. And yeah, I slept through. I don't know if you guys tried to call me or what, but I slept through everything. I didn't wake up till it was like 7:45, 8 o'clock, something like that. I was like, oh shit! I opened my eyes and the sun's out, and it's like, what happened? Where's my alarm? And then I went in there and looked, and I don't know what I did. I fixed it though. I already fixed it. Yeah.
This was Precious Sharon who said, I set the alarm, but I sleep right through it, so it doesn't work. So can you come wake me up? To be a teenager. No alarm loud enough. And I can honestly say I've heard it beep and go off like crazy in his room, and he is sound asleep through it. It's not a sound that wakes him.
So they make some really cool alarm clocks that have lights on them that simulate the sun. So it starts off real dim, and your alarm's kind of low, and your alarm, it takes a while for it. It goes over like 30 minutes, or you can set the time for how
you can
bright
set
it
longer
gets.
or whatever, right? You can have nature sounds slowly build up. Yeah, I want one of those. I keep forgetting they exist.
Yeah,
These
you
are
got a phone, and the
considered-
phone's
yeah.
easy. Hey, we're yapping. We should get this lovely group of fine
Yeah,
folks.
you did. Those alarm clocks, though, are considered necessity if you're on an inside room of a cruise ship, you say, where it's pitch black and goes out. You'd never know it was awake otherwise. So people swear that if you're on an inside room on a cruise, get one of those alarm clocks.
Absolutely. Or if you travel a lot and suffer
I'm like
from jet
Nora.
lag.
I'm like Nora there in chat. One of my superpowers is I can sleep through any alarm. I probably would figure out a way to throw something across the room and knock one of those flying clocks down to not have to get up and chase it. I can just,
I can say for one of the things that I
Billing Tano
despise-
says his alarm will do a gradual alarm sound itself. I never noticed that. I'll see if mine will do that. I might make a quick and dirty one for my phone. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm over talking. I'll shut up.
I was just saying, for something that I despise so much, being a paper boy, that alarm, that I had that one for like years, and I never threw the thing. Never once. I had that stupid alarm for like over 4 years throughout all of high school, and I never threw it. I don't know. I'm not like, when I wake up, I'm not like happy. Most of the time I'm kind of like grumpy and especially if I'm being woken up like that. But I don't throw stuff, and I've never been like that when I wake up. I'm just an ass.
That's my trauma. My early childhood trauma is alarms, and it's manifested through like waking up, my alarm clocks. So as a child, genetically, I think, because this was my father's issue and my son's issue as well. But as men, Corey men, we are born with small, weak bladders. Now they do eventually catch up with everything else, but when we start out, they're small and they're weak, and we have a bit of an issue with toilet training and not wetting the bed. So my dad, in all of his infinite wisdom, when I was maybe 5 or 6, still wetting the bed, of course, found some really cool, like metal pads, almost like aluminum foil pads that went underneath the fitted mattress on my bed. And then as soon as it came into contact with liquid, it would send off the alarm. It had like a little box, almost like a heating blanket box.
Dude, my significant other's son went through this very thing, the whole routine. Yeah, I know exactly the device you're talking about.
And it was so traumatic for me. So utterly traumatic being woken up, because it would only happen when I was in the deepest of sleeps, and then to be completely ripped out of that sleep by this alarm and this vibrating.
And that was my thought process, because I came into the relationship with her with that already going on. And the first time it went off in the middle of the night, I was like, what the fuck? And she's like, oh, I should have told you. I didn't think about it. I was so used to it, And then when she explained what it was doing and how it was jarring him out of a deep sleep, I thought, sure, this is going to traumatize this child for life. And I eventually talked to her about it, and we stopped it. So yeah,
Yeah, no, it did.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
definitely
That's
traumatized
wild.
me, probably for life, because here I am 40 years later still bitching about it. I don't really have as much of an adverse reaction to my alarms as I used to, but yeah,
Yeah, no
it's
doubt. PTSD.
hmm
P.
I
All right, we
don't
yapping.
have,
Let's get the
yeah.
BAM in here.
Let's do it. Well, we've had Damascus on at least once, and by God, if they didn't remind that it's been 4 years since he's been on, which okay, if you say it, you could tell me it's been 10 years, and I'd smile and nod, knowing full well I've not been on the air for 10 years. But it surely doesn't seem like it's been 4 years. And I think really Walter would be the best person to do this introduction, because I think this is where the relationship blossoms. So I'll
Well,
let
I've
Walter
been
take this
knowing
over.
Damascus and Catalyst and Tyler for, my goodness, at least 20 years. And then probably Damascus at least 27, 8 years. I mean, think about it, dude. How long have I been hanging out over there with Drew before me and Michelle got together? Anyway, so I've been knowing him since he was literally a young man, a teenager, the same age almost, I guess, as his son here. Wow, holy shit. Wow, my brain just broke open. Good Lord, I'm old as fuck. Okay, so anyway. So yes, I have known Damascus for some time and then met his wonderful, amazing wife uh, after they got together. In fact, it was not long after Shell and I had gotten together that I think you guys had gotten together, and met her. And the first day I met her, she said, I just read Dark Tower. And that was a true story. And I knew I had met my gunslinger sis. So to say these are friends is an understatement in the extreme. Now, fast forward to them leaving out of here and heading out to a new life in the great desert of our western parts of the states there. And we've kept in touch, but not nearly like we should, as we all don't like we should with the people we love and take care of. And so the growth that this young man, this amazing young woman, the family of amazing, powerful, enlightened warriors that they're raising. Yeah, it's really something that I am like envious of, want to emulate, and I'm so proud to know that, I was a little bit of some of it, maybe with some of my crazy shit I've talked to him about over the years. So love these guys amazingly. This is Damascus, and this is Catalyst Eternali. There's Kyler in the middle, and young Myles. Hello, young Myles. You guys are muted, so just letting you know, you'll have to unmute there on your app to say hello. There you go.
Wow, thank you, Walter.
That was
Hey, Walt.
what a great introduction.
Walt. Made me a little emotional. Man.
Well, I'm glad, because you guys, like I said, it's been amazing watching you guys and
Wow, thank you
seeing
so much.
the result right there. I mean, my God. I generally keep my camera off because I'm horribly ugly, but I'll pop it on and off every now and
Oh,
again.
stop
For
it.
the cats, usually is when I'll
Yeah.
do it.
I think you look all right.
I don't think that they're displaying on the main screen. I'm not seeing on my YouTube page. I'm seeing them on my Zoom page, or I could be crazy.
Oh, yeah. Like how it shows you guys up close
Mhm.
whenever you speak.
No, yeah,
Mhm.
you're right. I forgot to add that pin.
So you're doing
now
that?
we're
Yeah,
all
we're
set.
not seeing them. All
Just
right.
starting off
It would have
here.
been better
We'll
when
fix it.
if we would have.
We'll
Yeah,
fix
there
it.
we go. So much better. So much better.
There we go.
Hello, everybody. Hey.
It's a little delayed, it looks like. That's cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
a little. I was noticing that earlier. I figured it was just the internet that you guys might have there. You said it
well, that
was a little slow yesterday when you were downloading. What was it? Halo?
yeah, it was
Yeah.
well when I went to go play, it had an update and it just took forever to do the update. So, but anyway, that was a great introduction. We really appreciate that. And like what you had said, you hoped you were part of that. You definitely were, for
Absolutely.
sure. I remember I didn't like it was then absolutely I was just didn't know nothing pretty much basic other than what when I say nothing I mean what the school system's teaching us and
Right.
stuff.
Yeah, we were kind of feeling the yearning of growing, and I didn't know anyone. Then we really started talking to you and your family, and you had all these books that were full of just amazing stuff I'd never heard of, but I had sensed them. Like, I know there's something else, and you just really helped point the way to what I was searching for.
Well, like I said earlier there a second ago, when you walked up to me upon meeting and told me that you just read The Dark Tower and it was a true story, I knew immediately that this is definitely somebody that knows some shit already and is very ready for some new shit. So yeah, that broke my brain. I still think about that. Anytime I think of that book series, you're the first person. Right?
Same.
Immediately.
Same.
So, yep.
Definitely mutual.
Oh, and my cat is on my keyboard, so if I suddenly go away or type weird shit there, my apologies. My apologies. Well, as we do often when we're running late and setting up and putting it all on Josh.
Oh,
again,
someone in the...
My apologies, Josh. I should have had that picture more ready.
No, that's all right.
We talked a lot going in before we got live, and so now we're just going to sit here in quiet solitude and not say anything. No, I'm kidding. You guys are like, I mean, there's so much. I don't even know where to start. The Reiki, I know when last we spoke, you had hung out with us there on Ironworx.
Yeah.
And we talked about that at that time. I think you had not too long before that had found syncretism, some of Santos's work. I think we were talking about maybe some a little something else, and then
it was a lot. We
Reiki.
were going back and forth between
it
a
was
bunch
a whole
of
lot.
different
Yeah,
things.
we were all waking up to a whole lot of new ideas during that time. Come here, baby. Look.
First time being
make me hang up. Here, sweetie. Come on. Come here. See what you got. Look. There you go. All right, I had to get her off my lap. What was that, Myles? I missed it, man. What was your question?
First time being in a live stream. It was nice.
It
wasn't really a question. It was just me saying it was my first time being in a live stream. And I'm really impressed right now that probably in a couple of years, millions of people are going to be seeing me. How adorable.
Yeah. Absolutely epic. Yes, sir.
The wonderful mind of a 9-year-old.
Glad. Right. I'm glad to be the launch point here with our tiny little show. So.
Yeah. Well, we wanted to kind of
just remember the little people. Yeah. Remember the little people. But yeah, I know. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
Well, I would say I know you guys have, made some significant changes in your lives, not just in awareness of things, which is something that we all strive for in this group that we have going here, Iron Realm, and also the amazing family that is currently chatting with us there. We have that deep desire for knowledge and truth, and we can't, sleep without that truth and knowledge. But unfortunately, where a whole lot of us fall short, myself, a huge prime example of it, is in the implementation of that knowledge. It's great to know it. It's great to step yourself out of the system, which is a huge part of it that I feel that I've done a huge chunk of, and get out of that beast system as hard as you can and try to stay, keep that at bay. But then the actual work, the actual self work that it should instigate and is all is definitely needed, is where I know I fall short a huge amount. And so to see the progress you guys have made in that, the actual living the path of the warrior, not just reading a book about it and saying, oh, that's awesome, hope I can do that one day. But implementing.
Well, we were there at one point.
It's phenomenal. Yeah. Well, right, that's what I'm saying. I know you guys. You were. I know what we all are. Now we are human and are, flawed. And the way you guys have worked with it and turned it around has been amazing. Yeah, amazing.
Well, what really kind of forced us is it got so uncomfortable. We got so sick. We were extremely overweight. We were, I struggled a lot with emotional, like disordered emotions and whatnot. And, it just got so uncomfortable that we were like, we have to do something about this, and we knew we were going to the doctor. We weren't getting any healthier. We were eating the normal diet. We weren't getting any healthier, so we knew that what we had been taught was not, what was going to help
Right.
us. And flat earth, learning about flat earth and just seeing like, oh, wait, okay, well, they're lying. We've been lied to. What else have we been lied to about? Just really opened my mind to really see what was actually in front of me. And yeah.
Well,
It was,
now that
and
you
it was
actually
either
say, go ahead, T.
it was
ahead.
either we find a different way or die. Because I mean, I was severely overweight. I was like 315 pounds at my heaviest. So, and then it was crazy. Like Catalyst has said, always at the doctor. Like I had a surgery. I had my gallbladder removed because I had gallstones.
Wow, how
And
did I
it
miss
was
that,
So,
dude?
so
yeah,
you're
man. This
saying
was
that
well. This was
obesity can be, fought? Because do you hear the nonsense they're peddling today?
Oh yeah,
Because
the
wow.
fat
40,
acceptance and
yeah,
health at every size.
41% of the United States is obese now. That's
Wow.
insane to think of that
That's crazy.
number.
Supersize
Yeah,
me, baby.
That's just crazy.
absolutely.
So
And I
yeah,
think I
now
heard
they're trying to
somewhere,
make it say, oh, you can be healthy and be obese. It's like, no, you can't just say
No.
that stuff.
yeah, and it's an absolute lie. You cannot be healthy and be obese.
And then they say, oh, it's not a choice. You're just built this way. And I know some people are built big boned,
Right,
but
absolutely.
it doesn't mean that you can't exercise and eat right. And that will slim most people down a little bit.
Mhm.
I mean,
Exactly.
it's just crazy to think. It's like, well, I can't help it. It's like, well, that's what, an addict says.
Right, exactly. And it's the exercise thing, one thing we've learned from our journey, because we ended up being kind of pointed in all these different divine ways to veganism, to it, the animal products were causing our inflammation, because it causes inflammation, it causes mucus and whatnot. And without exercise, we we cut out all animal products, and within less than a year I had dropped I went from 160. My highest was 189, but I was at 160 because I got off pharmaceuticals
I'm
first.
gonna show a picture here if y'all don't mind.
Yeah, so
definitely.
this is us at our biggest.
Yeah, this is wow. It's pretty bad.
But
get ready.
Yeah, Damascus had lost his ability to walk.
Yeah, I couldn't walk.
There were times where he was stuck on the ground and we couldn't get him up because he was so locked up and inflamed.
And my back, yeah.
But once we changed our diet and took the animal products out, our weight started dropping instantly.
Yeah, that's me. That's me on my birthday walking in through the door. I was about 305 pounds in this picture.
Yeah, I've never
right here
seen you in person at that weight. Like when you
Yeah,
left
I
here,
we
you were
got way
heavier.
bigger
You were
after.
way heavier than you are now, but you definitely weren't that heavy. So when you
Yeah,
sent that picture
yeah.
earlier, I was like,
Yeah,
wow,
you
dude,
seen
that's
what you had seen in Louisiana before we moved out here to Arizona was the beginning of that.
of heading that
picture
way,
right there.
right?
So
Now, were you heavy when you were younger, or was this something that came on as you got older?
Neither
No.
of us were heavy as children. Like
Were you
I
guys
was super thin
I-
my whole
you guys
life until I got
drinking
pregnant.
diet?
And I
Pop or-
never saw you that overweight either.
Yeah, that was my
Catalyst.
biggest for sure. I was like size 18 pants.
All right. Here's what
Yeah,
can
me-
happen.
Yep. That's us today. Literally,
we just took
that.
this today for the show.
Yeah, Kyler took the picture.
So that's a huge transformation.
That's a
like
crazily huge
and
transformation.
we're foodies. We like to eat. We like delicious food. We like carbs. We like all of that. And none of that is the issue. Yeah, these are some vegan enchiladas we've made.
Yeah.
That's vegan cheese on top.
Vegan pizza.
Yep.
That's homemade dough, homemade sauce. We try to stay as whole foods organic as possible.
It was a journey though. It was a journey to get there.
It was. That was some Thanksgiving dinner that we had.
Oh, so delicious.
And it literally tastes as good as it looks.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Look at that nice organic cream soda. Nice vegan soda.
I was trying to stop and say, yeah, I know the boiling as well is just pure cane sugar. There's no high fructose corn syrup in it. I used to buy those at where is it in Lafayette? That place? Oh, Vitamin. What's it called? Anyway, you know the big vitamin store in Lafayette that everybody used to go to get the health food stuff. I used to buy those sodas there. That's the only place you could get them.
Right.
Sounds familiar. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember.
So
when you were at your hobbyist, were you drinking a lot of diet sodas?
No.
I've always not liked diet sodas.
Before we had gotten into the super crazy part of our journey, we had already done a bunch of research specifically on like vaccines and a bunch of other stuff like that, which is really kind of where we started our journey, was from vaccines into this. And I had saw studies where they had taken people who were drinking regular soda and put them drinking diet soda, and vice versa. People drinking diet soda, and they started having them drink regular soda. And in the study, they shown that people who were drinking diet soda actually started gaining weight, and the people who went from the diet soda to the regular soda actually lost a little bit. I mean, nothing significant, but enough for them to see, okay, well, there's something going on here.
Right. Plus aspartame is gross.
Yeah.
Don't I remember the Kevin Trudeau books talking about that?
Yep.
Weren't you in on that early on with me? Yeah.
Yeah. Kevin Trudeau wrote, it was one sentence by him that just said something along the lines of possibly the vaccines are causing illness.
Yeah.
And we had we had a newborn baby who our son was very sick from birth, and it would get way worse around vaccine times, which is constant nowadays when you have a newborn baby. But so from that point forward, we heard that sentence and we're like, maybe what if we just cut out the vaccines for a little bit? And his health dramatically improved. And then from there, I was obsessed. I got absolutely obsessed with vaccines and researching it and reading the package inserts and going, CDC website and all that stuff. And that's really exactly where it started. And when you start diving into that, you can't help but see kind of the conspiracy behind it. It's like,
don't I remember Kyler having some kind of like a skin reaction, and Michelle had to like dig deep to try to figure out. That was early on when everybody didn't have phones in their hand that could look up everything, and she went looking on the internet and figured out something that helped. I can't remember; it's been too long ago now. But
yeah, it ended up being it's a thing called molluscum contagiosum. Sounds like a Harry Potter spell, right? But
right.
It ended up just being like a virus, and he had a bunch of like what looked like skin tags just pop up everywhere, but it's not wasn't a deadly thing, and it ended up pretty much going away on its own.
Yeah.
So, but it was and he wasn't getting vaccinated at the time, but he had already had his whatever shots that he did get, unfortunately.
When you get here, right? We didn't. Yeah, we all didn't really know enough yet at that point, I guess.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Well, I mean, it even took us a bit longer after really, seeing that. Okay, well, first of all, we're lied to about so much, and then, it just went from there. And then it took a little while. I'm not gonna lie, there was some cognitive dissonance going on with us for a little while, but it
Oh yeah, well
eventually
that's
just
understandable. You're going to have that with everything, you know. I mean, we're
True.
brought up to believe that we can trust a doctor, and like
Right.
the FDA and the C. We don't think of them as the government, like a congressman or a politician, or
right.
we think of them as being scientists. So we just believe them because they have this white lab coat on.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Well,
it's crazy how it
it
really
is.
works.
It is. And it's another thing about that, the doctors is, okay, well, who's controlling all of this? And we don't have to get in all that right now, but who's controlling? If you look through all
Why not?
the big name families who's controlling all
Don't
this,
say it. Don't say it a certain word.
Kanye
yeah.
knows.
Who runs the pharmaceutical industry?
Right.
Oh, that's epic.
Who, and so when you look at these big name families who've been throughout history, and I'm talking about like the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, and all that crazy stuff.
Folks, yeah, there's
Who's
a handful of them that have been around for a very long time, pulling strings in the background.
And the thing about the doctors is they're going to a school, and they're literally why you go to, they call it a doctrine, because you're going to school to be indoctrinated.
Right.
And so they're learning from the people who are trying to control all of this. So of course they're going to lie to us and not, like, they don't care. Like, that's why when you take, it's like you take this one medicine for a headache, right? Which, pharmaceutical is derived from the word pharmakia, which is from the Bible, which means black magic. So I'm just saying. But they're taking these, you take, okay, you're having headaches. Okay, take this. Okay, well, now you got something else going on. We'll take this for
now
that.
You have diarrhea.
Yeah, and it's like it's a continuous line of going back to the doctor, because if we were all healthy by eating the proper diet, by knowing the truth about stuff, and really healing that trauma, because there's a lot of trauma and in this society, and it's not just one person, it's everyone's been traumatized by this society.
Everyone.
It's like built to traumatize us, literally.
Yeah. And
well,
this
you show up here, and the first thing you get is
you're in a hospital.
traumatized. Like, if you're a male, you get massive trauma, but every baby gets trauma.
Right. Well, right now,
Jerked away from mom, jerked around. Dude, I almost went through the window when I was watching them clean off my granddaughter. I was like, what? Y'all stop treating that child like she's a fucking side of beef. She's a human being. Stop flipping her and flopping her around. I ain't never seen anything like that in my life, man.
And then they instantly give you
about
two
to go
shots.
through the window. Right. Exactly. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. It's one of my trigger points is children and what gets done.
Well, the hospital is absolutely made to traumatize and create more disease. Like, why isn't it comfortable and like homey in a place where you're supposed to be healing,
Why don't they let you sleep at night?
Yeah, or ever.
Yeah.
You can't sleep
Or
in a hospital.
ever.
They're
Or
coming in and
ever.
gotta check on you.
And then if the hospitals really wanted us to be healthy, then why in the name of the Father is there freaking McDonald's and Burger Kings inside of hospitals?
in the not just around the corner, but in the building. Yeah.
Yeah,
the first thing that happened here was they threw a Starbucks in the bottom over here at Lafayette General, and I was like, something's not working here, guys. That's not even real coffee. That's sugar in a cup. That's
and it's exactly. It's like all GMO'd and stuff, also.
And $12, please.
Yes,
they're right.
$12. Yeah. Jeez. Yeah.
Just make pharmacy, make the P silent like you do in a lot of PH words. So it'd be pharmacy. I like that in the chat, Zoo Scout. Yeah, you wonder about being born into a world that the business model for the world that they've decided in council is to control population via vaccination and pharmaceuticals. It just it just makes you think.
Yep. And all of the, the pharmaceuticals, they prevent our bodies, because our bodies are these amazing vessels that have just incredible healing. It heals itself if we let it. But, you know, pharmaceuticals, a lot of the foods we eat, it literally stops our bodies from doing the processes they're trying to do. And we're taught, you know, if you're vomiting, make it stop. If you have diarrhea, make it stop. You know, take this pill, make it stop. You have a headache, make it go away. But all of these things are things our processes our body does to help us. It's all detoxing out the toxins we're constantly bombarded with.
And
You
your
know,
most
when you were
obvious
talking
on that
about
is
the
coughing. What do? You
go
get a
ahead.
cough suppressant, but coughing is literally getting that crap out of your system. And what do they want you to
absolutely.
do?
Thank you.
Suppress it. Keep going. But yeah, spot on.
That's actually
Yeah,
how I
It's
use
like,
well,
my
that's what I was gonna
tobacco.
say is actually that I'm getting all spun out here because I'm getting all riled up. This shit's so.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I do just want to make a point that that's how I use my tobacco is as an expectorant. I will roll a cigarette, but I'll only take maybe 2 or 3 drags. And then once I start to cough and all this crap comes out of my lungs, I flip the cherry off, blow out the old stale smoke of the cigarette, and put it aside for the next time. I just use the
Right.
tobacco as a
Right.
medicine to
Well,
clear the shit
tobacco
from my
is
lungs.
a plant medicine.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Tobacco has amazing grounding, cleansing. Tobacco is a beautiful plant medicine that they've really desecrated through the
Well, yeah,
cigarettes and stuff. That's not even, I
anything.
wouldn't even call that tobacco in the cigarettes that are mainstream
No, it's
sold.
not. Anything that you spray with a bunch of poison to turn dangerous
Absolutely.
is gonna be, is gonna be a poison. Tobacco
Absolutely.
itself is. I mean, the Indians used tobacco forever. They gave it to people with asthma back in the day. I mean, tobacco has all kinds of miracle um, capabilities to it, healing capabilities, but it's been demonized so bad. I mean, it's just like
Absolutely.
water. Go drink the water out of your city water tap. Yeah, you're
Oh, okay.
not going to be good for you. It's
here,
poison.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show them the
But pure,
distillery.
clean water
Well,
is
you
good for
guys
you.
left here, and I know you remember every 3 months getting the letter from Franklin Water Department saying, "Oh yeah, here's what we were killing you with a few months ago. Not currently. You need to boil your water and not die, but yeah, here's
Right.
what was happening
Well,
3 months ago." Like, thanks, Franklin.
and you know what's crazy about boiling water is the fluoride in it actually multiplies if you just
Gets
boil it.
worse.
Well, everything
Yes,
Yeah,
does.
it
gets worse.
multiplies.
Yeah, you take
So
salt
we,
water and boil it. It just makes it saltier. You evaporate
yeah,
all the
it's like
water
a more
out.
concentrated form of the poisons that were in there.
Right, you're getting rid of the good
We,
water that's in there.
yeah,
So I'm gonna show you guys. This is we actually do not
All right, I'm coming back.
drink
Hold on.
any
sink
sink
water.
water.
Yeah,
We don't drink bottled water. We literally bought a distiller.
yeah, we distill our own
Oh,
waters.
okay.
Okay, now
Back
check
it
this
up.
out.
Back it up a hair because
Yeah, this is what's in it
the brand
after.
wasn't visible. Because if
Oh,
it's
okay.
one you
Is
guys
it
are
in
proud
silver?
of and want people to, yeah, it's hard to read right now.
Yeah, we
It
have
Just
just
one
says
tell
here.
me,
water
what is it?
distiller.
Okay, but where did y'all like grab it? Where'd you get it? Just locally or
Amazon.
online? Okay,
Yeah,
I'll
Amazon.
go check it
Amazon.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, and it just sits on the table. It just sits on the kitchen counter, and it takes about 4 hours to make about a gallon.
Yep. And
Wow.
this is
It's real
the
simple. You put the water in, you push a button. Put the
Yeah,
lid on, you just push the
exactly.
button.
And you got to
Off
make
and
sure it's
goes.
not spilling every once in a while because sometimes, you know.
yeah, you see how
But
it's
this is
shiny?
stuff that comes out of our water. That's
Right.
How it when we first got it, the whole thing looked like this shiny part, and
Right.
now it's got
Epic,
all this
epically.
yeah,
stuff.
which smells just like
Well,
chlorine.
just
Yeah. Oh,
And
it's
just
ew.
and
using
sometimes
the tap water in your humidifier. If you run a humidifier during the heater time of the year in the wintertime, doing it, you'll see that crap just starts collecting on the element
absolutely.
there. You have to literally chop it off with a soft knife, a butter knife or something to get that crap off the fucking element. And I mean, it's a little expensive to use distilled water every time you want to run a humidifier for a couple of hours. So
Right.
yeah, I've definitely I've seen it here. It's brown, yellow, gray. It's not even that white stuff.
Yeah,
It's
sometimes there's
just
like black goop.
horrible.
Sometimes there's like
I
this
don't even want
black
to bathe
stuff
in
in
it.
there.
Yeah, me too. But and then after we distill it, we bless it and stuff, and just sing to it and pray to it, and because water holds those frequencies.
Have you ever looked into copper water?
Oh yeah, Yeah, we've had some copper cups before.
Yeah, we used to have some copper cups that we
I
would
have
drink
I have
the
a few
water
in the
out of.
cabinet. I did it, but at the time I was doing it, I must have had something going on. Like, you know how your body will let you know this is not what you need to be doing right now. And it definitely let me know that it wasn't time. And then I just kind of let it slip to the back of my mind. And then recently for my birthday, I was kind of hinting around that I wanted a copper water bottle, and I got a pedal board instead, which was great. I needed that too. So, but yeah, I'm about to go and invest in a nice copper water bottle. I think that'd be a little more like usable for me than just this open cup that sits for hours overnight and then it's been exposed in this house, and we have cats and there's hair floating around, just the whole thing. So
Cammy, what's the name
I'd
of that
rather it be closed.
that you and Bob
The
used to use
distiller?
all the time? Yeah, that
Oh,
distiller
the
that
John.
you have.
Okay, the John Ellis machine that energized the water. And I was going to talk to them because they would like this. About 10, 15 years ago, we were really into. We still distill right now, but we also did the structured water with John Ellis that put like the spikes and the structured into the harmonic. We did it with the John Ellis. I think it would work with the distilled, but we were making like the 5-gallon water bottles, giant glass jugs of water, and we would put headphones on the top of the water jug and put a little thing over it. So we gave it a little headphone so it looked like a little person, and play like esophageal music for 10 hours or 12 hours. And take it off and it would remember. And if we took water from that bottle and water from one of the bottles that had not had the music played in it, you could taste a distinct difference. The water that came out of the ones that we would put the headphones on was just sweeter and you like wanted to drink more. It tasted so good. It tasted so good, and you just could not get enough of it. It just like the freshest spring water, and even that ozone. I'm not quite sure what the different things you get, the ozone or the freshness, like a rain freshness. But the putting the music made such a difference. And you're right, it retains and holds the water. So if we would do a jug and even not get to it for 3 or 4 months later, it was still sweet and wonderful. We'd like to do that more. I know that we're distilling right now. The John Ellis machine, the thing about it is it worked well. We'd only use it when we were filling our hot tub because it's overflow discharge unless you had a well or something to put it with. You for the fine water that's the structured water, you'd get like 1 gallon to 10 waters of discharge. And so it would work when you were filling a hot tub and wanted to fill it with, which is still even slightly better water, but you had to go through a lot of water to get your, unlike the distiller that you push it in and push the button and you get the return on it. You don't have to backwash a lot of water on that one.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's
But
awesome.
the music part too, yeah, definitely. And the more you focus in on it and even like headphone and that, the more you can really get an extreme difference. It's again, it was mind bending stuff for us at the time, and it still is.
Absolutely.
So have any
Did you
of you
guys
guys
perhaps ever checked out vortexing water? Like we've had a couple of
Yes,
different
that's a
folks
really
come
good way
on
to energize it. The John Ellis did some vortexing in it along with the UV light, by the way.
So basically, the way it
It's not as
spins
good as
down
the
through a
vortex.
funnel, you know what I'm saying? That idea, if you can make that
okay.
work for you in a whole like system, and like we had a show. I'll try to find the link. We'll dig through and get it to you. But yeah,
Water
I
is
just
like
thought about that.
magical.
So
Well,
it
magnetizing
definitely
it
is.
as a vortex is having it just like you would erase a hard drive with a strong magnet. Taking the water and as it's vortexing in the circle, having alternating positive and negative magnets to make the actual molecules of the water kind of oscillate and switch that pole reversal as it swirls around and sort of re-energizes, re-softens the water in a more natural way. Whereas copper pipes are 90-degree bends, which isn't good for water. This is a more natural vortex swirling motion that makes it a natural softening motion.
Interesting. Have any of you heard of Masaru Emoto?
Oh yes.
Oh
So I'll just put that in there. He's done some really good experiments with water. I know one, he took water from where I mean, we all know nuclear isn't real anyway, so whatever this means. But they took water from the Fukushima site, and he like did this blessing thing to it, and he showed before and after pictures of the frozen crystals of the water, and it just the difference and how it looked, the water before they were blessing it and saying I love you and all this, you know, great stuff to the water was like kind of like, you know, like murky and like just had like these almost demonic like looking you know, shapes inside of the water crystals. And then the same water, after they blessed it and for several, I don't remember how long it went on for, but they blessed it and loved it and did all this, you know, put I love you on the water. And then they froze it again. And then the same water that was, you know, like demonic looking now has this beautiful geometrical shape in it. And, you know, he's like, according to him, it was even safe to drink. I don't know if I would have necessarily drank it because I'm kind of a stickler, but, you know, to each their own. But so
right. Well, this whole idea of water having memory and that idea, yeah, that definitely seems like something that.
You know what, Walt?
What happened?
I think it's a good time for you to talk to him about how Zack has one of his special nicknames.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It actually leads to a little special nickname a friend of ours here, Zack, has. So there's the rice experiment. Have you heard of that?
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's so funny because I was just talking to Mom about that last night.
So Zack attempted that early on, and he was, you know, he had his nice jar, and it was the one he gave all the love to. And then there's the hate jar that you have to do the hate energy into, and to kind of prove that it does cause he couldn't do that. So his name became Zack, too nice for rice. Zabala.
Right, and then there's a third one, right? That gets like ignored.
Right, and right.
That's the worst. That's the worst one.
Yeah, I couldn't do any of those though. I was sitting there trying it, and I was like, "Well, this isn't real. I'm not like mad at this rice. There's no."
You're like, I love you.
What
too,
did this
man.
right do to me? It never
Right.
did anything to me.
And it's crazy.
Hey,
This
we
was
need more
years ago.
kindness, anyways. So
I still have this rice, and it's never molded.
right.
Yeah.
This was like 2017 when we did this. 6 years ago.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's crazy. That's wow. It brings
and it goes like that goes with our bodies and ourselves as well, like what we speak and feel and share with our own vessels. Our cells are listening all the time, and it's like our body sits here the whole time waiting for us to love it, like just waiting. It's still going to take care of us. It's still going to keep us alive. It's still going to do all the stuff it's supposed to do, but it can't really do it to its full potential until we, you know, recognize it as such and give it the love and care that it needs and stop poisoning it.
Yep. Which this all ties in to veganism as well, which we're going to be getting into very shortly. So, yeah, and this January is also known as Veganuary. Question: I sent Walter a video. Did everyone get it and maybe check it out? If not, I can put it down. I can put it in text.
Currently in the show description, so it is there.
Awesome. Yeah, the don'twatch.org.
I had shared it with Josh. I don't know if I actually sent it to the show prep though. I got a little distracted this morning.
It happens.
Things going on with Haley and Haley's grandmother. So, but definitely, hang on. I'm gonna go.
So I definitely got the link, and I've not watched it. I've been at work all day. I don't know that I ever will.
Well, right. That's what I told Josh when I sent it. I said, you know, Haley and her cousins all had got us watching Food Incorporated quite a few years ago, which I don't know if you guys are familiar with that little documentary, but it was their terrorizing attempt at getting people into veganism, and it worked for the nieces. And Haley was actually, you remember, I think she was vegan when she was there with you guys over in.
No, not that I know of.
She wasn't? Okay, maybe she started that when she got back now. Maybe that's when that was. But yeah, she's not anymore, and she'll eat
Well,
healthier than
see,
most people do, but
now,
she's not wholehearted like her cousin, who's a phenomenal artist and vocalist, and definitely emulate. Like her essence feels like very clear and very centered. As far as the health part of it has definitely been working with her over the years. You can feel it
Right.
in her aura.
yeah. So this was actually one of the things we were going to talk about was veganism versus a plant-based diet, because there's a huge difference. For instance, like plant-based diet, someone who eats a plant-based diet, they can still go to the store and buy a pair of leather shoes or a leather belt or have a leather wallet or a leather handbag or whatever. And and a lot of people that I've spoken to, they're like, oh, I was vegan for a year. And then it's like, no, well, then you weren't vegan, because vegan is a lifestyle. It's not
Right.
just.
And it's also a spiritual awakening.
Yeah, it's very much so is. And and I'll be honest, whenever I first decided to start this journey, I wasn't vegan. I was plant-based. I wanted to lose some weight, and it wasn't supposed to be forever. It was only supposed to be for a little while. And the more research I did, I ended up watching a documentary called Earthlings, which is a really good documentary. I know, I get it when you guys say, I don't want to watch that stuff, but here's the thing. We have to know what's really going on, and seeing that those types of horrific crimes against the children of God, because all animals, and not just humans, but cows, pigs, chickens, turkeys, these are all children of God, of the Father. And so there's a huge difference between like a plant-based diet and veganism. So for a vegan person, someone who's vegan and lives a vegan lifestyle, we're not going to wear leather shoes. Actually, I had a pair of leather shoes, which I threw away once I really became vegan. I had a leather wallet. I don't watch sports anymore, but back then I used to. I had a leather Saints wallet that I buried in the backyard, because when you see the horrific, disgusting things that are done to the leather animals, it's absolutely like in a lot of cases, the animals are skinned alive, and a lot of people don't know that. They skin the animal while it's still alive, and it's in its cage alive, dying. And once it dies, they take that animal and feed it to the other animals that they're gonna make leather out of.
Okay.
And so
What you're saying, though, I find it true evil, but this is a choice that we make as people. This isn't what it means to be veganism or an eating thing. This is just a whole other. The way we treat animals is really fucked up.
It really is.
In
Absolutely.
general. And I don't know if you're familiar with Temple Grandin or different. Temple Grandin is somebody that designs, goes in and designs things that, like when the cattle get even dipped or different things, that it's not scary, it's painless. And she's like, why they might not, why they might be our food. We deserve, they deserve this. We owe them. For any type of out of respect, we owe the decency to treat animals right. So there can be a whole different thing there, but even outside of it, I realize it's horrible, but for even people that are not vegans, it's horrible, and that's just a totally separate choice than eating them or not, again, or wearing
Right.
leather or not. You can do it differently, and we need to do it differently. We owe ourselves it doing it differently, just the energy it creates.
Absolutely. And it's happening to so many animals every single day, and the thing is, like, that stuff wouldn't be happening if we weren't buying it. If we stopped purchasing that stuff, they would stop breeding the animals, and then they would stop killing the animals, and it would end that. So that's why I think it's important for everyone to see it, because at least once, because how you don't know until you know, and it's way worse than you think it is.
Yeah, it's like we were tricked as children. Like, think about it. You're a child, you're a young child, and before the age of 8, I don't know if a lot of people, if you guys know this, but before the age of 8, you're always in the theta state, which means you're super highly suggestible.
Mhm.
You're easy to be manipulated and stuff
Yeah,
like
you
that.
have no conscious mind gatekeeping your subconscious mind.
So think of a young child sitting there watching a cartoon where there's a farmer and the farmer's treating the animals super nice and they love each other and the same animals are always there. But then in reality, what's going on is the animals are severely mistreated, malnourished, and drugged. 80%.
All day.
Yeah, they're hooked up to machines all day. 80% of the pharmaceuticals that's created is actually fed to livestock. 80%, with most of that being antidepressants. And why is that? Well, because those animals are severely depressed. A lot of times they try to commit suicide. These animals literally try to commit suicide. And they try to kill themselves to make
They
sure.
do it. It fattens it up really quickly, though. If they're sad and they sit in one place and eat, it's a quick fat. And plus the stuff makes them gain weight.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, like they feed
Again,
them
we
the
don't
red
have to, though. This
Skittles.
is a choice. Just like right now, we breed chickens that get fat so fast that you have to control breeding because they're
they're
too fat to
literally
fuck.
exactly.
Sorry, excuse
Well,
my
they're
language, but that's what it is.
they're GMO'd also to gain fat
Right.
like that so quickly.
Exactly.
They can't.
So
They can't.
quickly
Yeah, they
that they
can't even
can't.
stand up.
Exactly.
So real quick, if you
This
don't mind,
is
guys,
the world messing up, not the eating thing. But yes, go ahead, Walt. I'm sorry.
our buddy David M there in chat, what's up, Dave? Added this to the conversation. A lot of truthers talk about the elites and adrenochrome,
Yep.
when actually adrenochrome is in all the meat that we buy in
All
the
of the meat.
supermarket.
Yep.
Because I mean, the terror, the way they die, and then, if you want to go to a
Absolutely.
whole different, take a left here, if you look into the kosher way animals can be butchered,
It's just as bad. It's worse.
it's worse.
Yep.
Watching an
Absolutely.
animal bleed out on the fucking floor. Now, I have to swing this
Yeah.
back around. I have to, because this is part of what we do here, is this
Definitely.
idea of, okay, in biology, as I studied biology, there are certain things that you only get out of meat for the brain to form at a certain age. It also can be gotten out of eggs, granted. And the fact that eggs come here through a route that, to me, feels like they were gifted to us in a way. If they weren't fertilized and are been expelled, that was given to us. So what is your guys' take on that? The whole idea of
Well, the issue is the health
eggs.
problem.
Not an egg farm. I'm talking about yard eggs that somebody like.
Right, but even those, all of our
Go ahead.
human vessel isn't made to process that type of food. It really causes health issues inside of us. For instance, has anyone watched What the Health, the documentary on Netflix?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, it's been there a minute, right?
Yeah, it's a couple of years old.
Yeah, a couple of years.
Well, it talks about how, diabetes, which people say is caused by sugar, is caused because the animal fat coats our cells. And so the sugar, when we consume sugar, which our body is made to use sugar as its main energy source, we're built to live off of sugars, really fruit sugars. But so when we consume sugar, it's supposed to be absorbed as it goes down our digestive system. But if the animal fats are coating those cells and preventing it from being absorbed, all that sugar hits our stomach. Boom. And our body isn't meant to have that much sugar in our stomach at one time. It's supposed to be digested and absorbed some on the way. But the eggs are detrimental to our health.
Yeah, in the documentary What the Health, he literally eggs are literally classified as bad as cigarettes, health-wise. And another thing is, recently we've been learning that our bodies actually create its own cholesterol.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. So, like, for instance, like they're like, oh well, you can't get vitamin B12 from anywhere but animals, and well, that's not true. First of all, you only need a small amount of vitamin B12 in your body, and you can get a small amount, and it'll last for like 5 to 6 years. So, for instance, when we cook a lot with nutritional yeast, which is, it kind of has like a cheesy flavor. I'm pretty sure everyone knows what nutritional yeast is, but we cook with it a lot. Like we
I
put it in
keep
our
it on
tofu.
my shelf. Yeah, I have it. I put it in
It's so good.
It has
so
vitamin
much
B12
different
in it.
stuff. Yep.
Right. Well, what's funny is science tells us, like the medical field, like our body makes vitamin B12 itself, but they say that we excrete it out, which doesn't make. Why would this perfectly complex vessel create B12 that we need and then just excrete it out, and we have to find it somewhere else? Like. But
I think
also
somewhere, yeah. I think somewhere it's all in balance, though, isn't it? That regardless of what you're eating, your state of mind and your environment are going to play a part that could overcome in other words, if you look, I've watched interviews with some of the world's oldest people, and if you watch their interviews and that are spry and healthy and their minds are mostly there, they're the ones that smoke cigarettes, have eggs every day, and basically a few drinks here and there, and and a snarky attitude in the whole, but they've known how to live and be sharp in that. So it's it's not like all the vegans are long lived, or all of the. I think overall you can abuse or do wrong in any area, but I think with the intent with it, that if you're eating healthy and working on improving and losing weight and going for the healthy lifestyle, you are improving yourself and going through it. And when you learn and focus in on how good the food you're eating, and it's because you're aware of what you're doing.
Right.
That's some awareness. I think some people, if I'm going to disagree with you, that I think that like some people, if they raised chickens and knew that they were raised under humane conditions, which I know people that do things like that, and the same with a side of beef and things, killed humanely and handled correctly, not the way that you're seeing in the movies. Just like raw milk is illegal in most states, just because the way they treat the cows, they can't get a pure enough product. But again, if you have a natural farm, something called Milky Way, or different types of pastures, which they're able to do, and you can watch people do, you can produce this stuff that's not as contaminated. It's the way that they're doing. They have the cows sitting in their feces, standing there, that's getting swished in the milk, that's getting put in the dairy party. The eggs are landing in stuff. A lot of it you're saying is right, and it's disgusting. But I don't know. Our teeth, different parts of our body are, I think, designed to eat meat. I think it's easier to do your vegan because so much of the meat there, you're right, they treat it the way it is. I don't know if it's the only way, but I think it's a really good way.
There's all this idea too that, the current state that our vessel is in isn't the state that our vessel has always been in. I'm kind of referencing back to some of the stuff Lucas King was talking about earlier in the week, and some of the stuff in the book that I'm now rereading, His Secret History of the World, and talking about at one point we were literally vegetative state. We weren't meat sacks walking around. In one of the stages of man, we were vegetable. We absorbed the fucking nutrients directly from source as
like the sun.
Yeah. And so then that kind of circles back around to the people who do the breatharian idea of just eliminating the middleman and going straight to the sun and getting your life force
right. Well,
that
that's
way.
Fascinating too.
Right, that breaks my brain, man.
Right. Well, one reason why a lot of us can't do that is because, like, I don't practice breatharianism, but I do know I do get nourished from the sun, and part of being able to do that is having enough chlorophyll in your vessel. Most people do not have enough chlorophyll, which acts like the blood is very, very similar to human blood, but it's like plant blood instead. And
It fluoresces, by the way, under UV bandwidth. It fluoresces blood red. The chlorophyll, the ones what you're talking about, actually looks like blood under a fluorescent light. So you have incandescent sunlight or blood, and the plant, the chlorophyll, blood red, exactly.
right.
So
That's
just
beautiful.
throwing a few things here out of the chat, just that have caught my eye. Keith Murph 426 saying,
Yep.
Bill
yep.
Gates wants people to be vegans. That should tell you something.
Yeah, but he wants.
Well,
he
I'm
wants.
just throwing it out there. Go
Right,
ahead, go
no,
ahead, go
yeah.
ahead.
Well, see, the thing is, they want everyone eating that processed vegan stuff, the processed chemicals. It's not even hard. You can't even call it plant-based hardly because it's
The stuff that has the built-in barcodes in it. Hello, David. and
Yeah.
Kat.
Oh yeah. The undetectable microchips and stuff like that.
right. And also back to something Cammie has said about the humanely killed. How can you humanely kill something that wants to live? How is that possible?
Righto. Now, I have to throw this in because I just saw this on the chat as well, and it kind of goes back to something. Where is it? Let me read it right. Oh, it's Keith Murph again.
I
What the
would
hell?
answer that. I would say the same way I kill my plant before.
Exactly.
You know.
But a plant and an animal, two
Yeah,
very,
a
very
plant-
different
A
things.
plant doesn't have a central nervous system. A plant doesn't shed tears whenever you take the plant next to it away from it. You know what I mean?
It might react to the environment,
Yeah,
but
it'll-
it's not crying and screaming.
How do
There's
you
not
know?
literal tears.
All
How
contrary.
do you know? There are experiments and different
Well,
things.
not to mention the
I'm
foods we're
pulling 'em up.
supposed to eat. The
Mhm.
foods we're supposed to eat don't kill the plant. Fruits, leafy greens, that doesn't kill the plant. That's, in fact, a head of lettuce. You can just peel off the outsides of it, and
Right, you can harvest
keep
it
growing
forever.
and keep providing.
Mm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Those are the true foods we're supposed to be eating.
Yeah, fruits and leafy greens.
And your
stuff.
chlorophyll, when I'm going to drop this link for you in the, if I can find our screen on the chat. There are, when you said that, I meant to answer you too on it. I wasn't ignoring you. It's just that I had put a whole chocolate covered cherry in my mouth and it exploded. And you asked me right then.
You gotta
and
savor the
there.
flavor, you know.
And it's like, I couldn't swallow it past it. I was like, no, we're not talking through this one. I think I dropped in the chat and I'll do it through. There's a movie out there that I think she puts it better than me in the movie, because the documentary is about somebody named Temple Grandin, who I've met in person, and who Claire Danes does an amazing job portraying, where the person that was portrayed, she's really like this. It's an autistic woman that grew up, and I've met in Colorado, and she goes around and she sees things like through cows' different eyes. And I would almost agree with the way that what makes you there, why these animals feel and do this. If we treat them correctly, I think there's an understanding that they would die for us and not to serve us, but we owe them a nice,
Absolutely.
if we're going to do this, we owe them a beautiful life, and to treat them better than we're treated ourselves. Why here? In other words, they need good living conditions. They need to be fed. They need to be tended. Like in our household, our dogs have it better than anybody. It's just, you treat your animals. You can't love them too much to give back, but they are willing, like plants are willing to die. And this, if you give them, they'll even show ways to, she devised ways to painlessly kill them where they weren't scared going in. And it was this is somebody that's studying and is trying to bring the cruelty out of it. But in the way that she does it in her autistic mind, she's able to state it much clearer and more concise than I can as a visual speaker, that the plants and the animals are here for us, and we owe them the beauty and the respect, and not to abuse them. And it's just as upset as you're going to get, or I'm going to get somebody taking and slaughtering a cow. Just a mean actness of even taking a chain and hitting a chain onto a tree branch, or that just is fun and not in a way of trimming it and making it better, and that not done with. That pisses me off. Plants,
Absolutely.
animals, rocks have awareness too.
Mhm.
The more you look at it, the more you'll see that we've been lied to about so very much.
Absolutely. Spirit
Everything
is
is
in
aware
all.
of it. Spirit is in all, and rocks retain
Absolutely.
memories and hold. But again, it can be done, and it can be done correctly. What we're doing is pure evil, and that's part of evil is a choice.
Well, and also another thing is we're killing the animals, but we can get nourishment without killing any animals. It is absolutely unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like we do not need animals to be healthy in any stage of life, pregnancy, infancy. I mean, none of it. We do not need the animals.
Yeah,
You could say that, but in the different climates in like the Arctic where they do the high fat contents and they're living just the outdoor lives. And that, again, it might work for you. I don't know if I'm the judge for everybody. I can't judge for
Right.
everybody if they should be a vegan, a vegetarian, exactly what's right. But I can judge that if you are eating meat and if you are eating plants, because I mean, are you familiar with Awaken with JP?
Yes.
He's got a wonderful video called If Meat Eaters Were Like Vegans.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've watched
And
that.
like with the thing, wait a minute. You are eating my food's food. Quit it. You know?
Yeah.
How cruel is that and how wrong is that? I think there's you may be entirely right, and I like your crusade on it, but on the other hand, I think every single one of us can agree that the way that we do treat animals in the food industry is poisoning everybody.
Absolutely.
It's bad for them, it's bad for us. I think that's a place to start on. And if you clean that up, naturally food prices and that will go up. And instead of being a main course, it would be a treat or, I mean, it would naturally balance itself there.
Right.
You would get a better health result and a better everything result, I think.
Yeah.
But trying to tell
agree.
people they can't have something just means there's a black market.
Right. Right. Well, okay, okay.
Let me add. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, it's good. So every a big thing about being vegan is a lot of people are like, oh, well, where do you get your protein from? Right? That's like a big thing, and it's like a big misconception that vegans don't get enough protein. Well, the truth behind it is all protein on Earth comes from plants. All protein on Earth, I'm gonna say it again, all protein on Earth is derived from plants. The protein that you're getting from meat is recycled protein that the animal has already used. Okay. And so that protein is acidic to the human body, and we can't even process it properly. As a matter of fact, when you eat meat, it can take up to 5 to 6 days for your body to completely digest that meat, because that's how our intestines work. Our intestines work the same as any vegan animal out there.
Yep.
If you look at the intestines of a human versus a vegan animal, they're pretty much the same. But if you look at the intestines of a human and say like a lion, well, a lion's intestines are a lot shorter than this. Not to mention, okay, here's one thing that I really, we'll get back to that. I want to stay on track though. So the protein, for instance, a serving of broccoli has more protein in it than a serving of beef. Okay, so and the thing about the protein from the plants is our bodies can absorb it easier. We can and so let's say you eat a steak, okay, it can take up to 6 days for you to process that steak, and you might have gotten 8 to 10 grams of protein, maybe, and not good protein. But if you eat a serving of broccoli, okay, within 30 minutes to 45 minutes, your body has pretty much already digested that. You've gotten the full protein that you need from it. And it like you don't feel as bad either. Like I know one guy up here had mentioned Keith, the let me see, Keith Murph 426 said, I know tons of vegans who had to start eating eggs and meat because of severe health problems after years of being vegan. Well, first of all, Keith, they weren't vegan. If they started eating meat and protein from animals, they were never vegan. They were plant-based. I just want to be clear on that. There's a huge difference. Vegan is a lifestyle that you live by day to day. Plant-based is part of the vegan lifestyle. It's the diet of the vegan lifestyle, but plant-based and vegan, there's two complete different things, and there's a big thing about that. But anyway, we've been vegan almost 7 years now, and you will, when you go vegan, okay, you are gonna have some health issues. There's just no way around it, because we've spent years, okay, depending on how old you are, you've spent that long consuming all of this stuff. And
I wouldn't call it health issues, healing crisis.
Right, healing
is what it
I
is.
was going to wait till you stop
Yeah,
and
health
say,
issues is
it sounds
That's
a lot
why
like
this
a
is my
healing
better
crisis.
That's why she's my better half, right? So, so yeah, you will go through health crises. I'm not gonna sit here and say you don't. I've had a shite ton of kidney
Well,
stones.
dude, you'll go through some shit just doing fasting. Your body
Absolutely.
goes
And
through
healing
changes
doesn't
and
feel good. Healing
yeah.
hurts.
Yeah, but I can tell
When
you
you're
now
living
that
sick, your body freaks out when it starts getting healthy. It's just
Absolutely. You
a
have to get that
fact.
stuff out too, because our body will store it all.
Yeah,
It'll
it's
store it. It's
now,
like, okay,
And
well, let me
once
take this.
once all those parasites, look, David in chat, yep. Once all those parasites start dying off, that
Absolutely. And it's
David, you're awesome, my brother. We really appreciate that you're
You
in
should go
here.
back.
It's-
I'll send a few links to some shows Dave's been on with us. He's on top of
on
this. He's on top of this.
So-
Oh yeah.
So you will have healing crises. Like, okay, being vegan doesn't mean you don't ever not feel good.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, I know I throw up sometimes when I'm not feeling good. I throw up, but you know what? I don't take anything I haven't been to the doctor, and I refuse to go to the doctor. But like, when I start like vomiting and I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, I'm glad that's out of me. And then I always feel like so much better when I'm done vomiting. Now, it's, again, you will go through some healing crises, but that's your body being able, okay, now healing hurts, okay? You can't, toxins mess you up twice, when you put them in and when they're going out. So
unfortunately, that's where all the absorption takes place, is in the intestines, and that's where that shit hangs out. And once it pulls away from that intestine wall, it starts getting reabsorbed into that fresh, little clean area. It's just how the body works, and you have to flush it, get that shit out.
Absolutely.
So I want to touch on Dave's parasite. So I'm assuming, has everyone heard of visceral fat?
Clarify just to make sure everybody knows.
Okay, so visceral, it means organs. That's your organs, your heart, your liver, your lungs, your intestines. That's what visceral means. Visceral fat is the fat that's around your organisms.
Your organs.
Your organisms, your organs. So you have all this fat around your organs, and it's crazy because it literally controls your appetite. It controls your taste buds. It gives you cravings, this visceral fat, because it's trying to keep itself alive.
Yep.
And so you get these crazy, like cravings. Like, say you're sitting there and it's like, 3 o'clock in the morning, like, oh, I gotta have this or that, or I mean, whatever it is. And you saw the before pictures of me. I had a shit ton of visceral fat. It was absolutely crazy. And so once you start getting and they literally consider visceral fat a parasite. It's literally a parasite.
Yeah, and it can control what you like in flavor wise. That's why, when
Dude, they control your fucking life. These parasites that are in your gut, and the ones like you're speaking about that are part of your fucking body. It's
absolutely
insane.
they're like they're
good for you, Dave. Heck
yeah,
man. Hey, we're behind you a little bit, but we're working on it, my man.
But yeah, the visceral fat, like we were saying, controls your taste buds, and like you said, controls everything. So that's why a lot of people, when we first went vegan, we tried some of the processed, because some of the processed stuff is a little better, than other processed stuff. Like, I wouldn't eat Impossible under any circumstances, but you have to give yourself a little bit of time of not eating the processed meats and the stuff before you can really enjoy the other stuff, because of the parasites. People think like, oh, I hate mushrooms, or I hate broccoli or whatever. And then they stop eating the garbage and they try broccoli again, they're like, wait, this is amazing.
Well, I grew up with the. Sorry, I'm trying to deal with the cat. I grew up with the worst diet. I mean, the worst. Raised with a single mom, turned loose in the kitchen. Here's a bunch of frozen pizzas. Go. And so, yeah, it
Yep.
wasn't the best thing ever. But I've lost my train of thought because the cat just jumped on me. So the way we're raised, the way our diets get instilled in us makes it, it so that at that point that stuff is in you, and now it has control, and now it wants those greasy, fatty, sweetie,
Yep.
ice creamy, malt with extra malt. It wants those things, and it rewards you with the pleasure feeling and all that.
Yep.
So we talk about things on this show sometimes about these parasites of a spiritual nature, these entities that dwell around us all the time, whispering in our ears, trying to get us to do the bad things. So when you've got the internal shit saying, hey, do this horrible shit, and the external shit going, hey, let's do this horrible shit, it's really empowering to see you guys have made these huge strides and changes because, like I said, you guys were right where so many of us currently still are, unfortunately, with our choices, even in spite of knowledge. So definitely amazing to watch you guys, and thank you
Well,
for doing this.
well, here's the
I'm
thing.
just blown away.
Thank you so much, Walt. We love you so much, bro. So I just put something in the chat. Standard American diet. That's what this called, and it's literally SAD. SAD. The Standard American Diet. And the reason it's sad, and the reason they labeled all this, you guys know about wordplay. You guys know about word magic already.
Oh
They
yeah.
do it on. They do it on purpose. They do it on purpose, and it's all to keep us confused, stupid, dumb, not knowing left from right, not knowing up from down. And it really does tie into flat earth. I remember, we're not on social media anymore because I just absolutely despise social media. So I completely deleted my Facebook and all that stuff because it's just horrible. But before I did that, I remember seeing a meme, and this was right about the time I was getting into flat earth. So I was kind of still like questioning it and like deciding if that's where the direction I wanted to go, and I wanted to go in the direction of truth, so that's where I went. And I remember seeing a meme, and it was from a vegan flat earther, and they were like, when you know where you're from, you know what to eat. And it showed like a picture of like the flat plane, and then underneath it showed all the fruits and veggies, no meat, no eggs, no dairy, no nothing in the picture. And that kind of really hit me because that's the journey I was already on. Now it's funny because it really does tie in with flat earth, because what we found out, well shit, they're fucking lying to us about the earth. So what else are they lying to? They're obviously lying to us about what we're supposed to be eating. It's all okay. For instance, let's say you grew up thinking, not thinking. Let's say you grew up being taught, oh, well, you're supposed to be eating cats and dogs and stuff like that. That's your meat. And cows and pigs and chickens were pets. Well, everyone would be eating cats and dogs and having cows, chickens, and pigs for pets. It's based off of our indoctrination, and that's why I really like the fact that we're on this show, because you guys have already dealt with the lies of flat Earth, of the heliocentric model, and then going into flat Earth. So it kind of, it was a little bit easier for me to transition whenever I kind of, seen that and was like, okay, wait a minute, they're lying, like again, they lied to us about everything. They're lying to
Yep.
us about what to eat, what to drink, and all that stuff. So it all kind of, fits in together.
You said earlier, as you were actually starting the whole show with us there, Callis, about how flat Earth had really, kind of, as you became aware of that, it really opened up your mind to a lot of these lies. And we've never really talked about that. Heath and sorry, I'll do that forever, man. I can't help it. Damascus and I have had that conversation, both on the show and behind the scenes a few times. Sharing things back and forth, trying to work our way through this thing. I remember with Haley being out there and me sending things to her. She was kind of sharing it, and there was a little, what? That's crazy at first, as it is with everybody, with all of us. But I see, hearing Myles going off there a little earlier was just amazing. So, what was your aha for this whole thing, Catalyst? Okay, maybe this place isn't spinning through the infinite void. What made it like sealed, or what was your path to flat? I guess is what I'm trying to ask in a fumbly way.
Right. Well, interestingly enough, that was around like 2015-ish, whenever Haley went and visited you guys. And I was just going through this awakening that just had rocked my world. And I knew my world had flipped and I didn't understand. I'm like looking around like, what is going on? And then Haley comes back from that trip and she's like, I have to show you something. I'm like, okay, let's see. And it's a video about flat Earth. And it just, I had no issue. It just was so clear. It's like, oh my goodness. Yes, it clicked instantly. I had the real hard part was talking to Damascus about it.
I'm pretty sure already.
But it was you indirectly who really showed me the truth about flat Earth and whatnot. And once I seen it, I'm like, oh yeah, this makes so much sense.
How about I showed you some questions about Earth? That's always better to me, because I definitely am still trying to figure this whole fucking thing out. In fact, Haley and I were having a discussion just a couple of days ago on how like you go early on from like, okay, no way, to like, oh, okay, maybe, to like, oh shit, yeah, to like, okay, this is it. And when you get to that point, you got to stop, taking a little assessment of yourself and go, okay, you don't know what it is, obviously, because they fucking tricked you your whole life up to now. So why do you think you got it figured out right now, dumbass?
Yeah.
Roll, absorb some information, meet some people and see what they see and what they've come up with and work it out together. And so, yeah, it's a whole path. It definitely is a whole little arc of trying to figure it out. It
wasn't.
Yeah, a tough path.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It wasn't that easy for me. I mean, it took like, I don't know, maybe like 3 weeks after, maybe a little bit longer, but it took a lot of digging and some hardcore, sitting with it to be like, okay, yeah. So I remember I had got home from work, right? And I walk in the door and they're like, hey, I'm going to talk to you about something. I'm like, what's up? And they're like, the Earth's flat. And I'm like, you're fucking crazy. And I just start getting like, we weren't vegan at the time yet either. This was before we were vegan. So I just started going off. I was like, oh, you're crazy. We've been to the moon and all this other hoo-ha. And yeah.
Well, at that point, he had considered himself the
ancient astronaut theorist.
Right. So it really hit him hard with that.
Yeah. Sorry about those Sitchin books.
Yeah, it's all good, bro. It's all good.
It's all part of the journey.
Well, I recently learned something. I had recently learned something about Sitchin. He never translated anything.
Right.
All he did was took what was already translated and put it into a book.
Right.
So I learned that about Sitchin from what's that guy's name?
I don't know.
Anyway, I don't think of his name. I'll say it, but he was talking about Sitchin. He's like, yeah, Sitchin didn't read or decode anything. He literally took what was already done and put in a book anyway. So yeah, it was a little bit more difficult for me. But.
I think he went to try to debunk it, to prove like, I'm going to prove you guys are crazy. And he was like, oh man, I tried to debunk it and now I see that it's flat.
Yeah, and I can tell you exactly when it finally clicked for me. I was actually a technician for the cable company, and so I was training this guy, and we were like up in like the high part of like Scottsdale, like up in the mountains in the older part, and like we could see down all of Phoenix. And so I'm looking at Phoenix and I'm like, man, where's the curvature? I'm like looking around and it's just like flat as far as I could see. So then this is the crazy part. I get to this guy's house and I'm installing something and he has this like like a counter, and on top of the counter, he had a piece of glass on top of the counter. Underneath the glass, between the glass and the counter, he had a whole bunch of like clippings of stuff like that. And so he points out, he's like, "Hey, do you see this picture?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "See that mountain?" He's like, "That's Flagstaff from Phoenix." And he's like, "This picture was taken from the tallest hotel, which was the tallest building at the time that the picture was taken in Phoenix." And he's like, "You can see," and that way we had already heard about this. It was almost kind of like, it was like, "Hey, check this out," like I was being shown the way or whatever. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like scratching my head. I'm like, wait a minute, Flagstaff's like 4.5 hours away. How can we see that? Shouldn't the curvature be hiding that mountain? How can we see? So that was really when it really took off for me, was after that.
Hearing that the sun is supposedly 93 million miles away, that also was like, wait, what?
Wait, that sun that's shining through that little tiny cloud, the cloud is sitting there by itself in the sky. There's clouds nowhere else but in this little area, and it's being blocked, and it's shining through this tiny. Yeah, that's
Right.
93 million miles away.
Right. Not to mention, like, logically, I'm sitting there thinking, okay, if the sun is 93 million miles away, it's outside of the atmosphere. We're spinning, but it's straight, solid, clear. I can see it. Shouldn't it just be like, if you can see it at all, like a blur of a light, a streak of light just going by?
Let alone the stars at night should look like a Pink Floyd laser show every night.
Right. And we should have
if not
stars.
that, every 6 months, but if not a laser show, it should be a whitewash, just white light. If what they say is true about light and traveling, stars dying and us still seeing them, all that fun.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, what's interesting is I had found out that what they call planets today were actually back in the day called lakas, and that translates to wandering star. So
absolutely.
So that's what they.
Have you guys, by any chance, been exposed to any of the multi-pond ideas?
Yes.
I just didn't know how much you've dug into some stuff. I had read this book a few months back, The Navigator.
Is that where it's like it's big and this is just one?
We're just one little area and there's many others. And those stars, those wandering stars are literally their suns over their little areas where they are. And that's what we're seeing in the distance and all that stuff. Yeah.
Well,
there's an old book from the 50s that was released about this Navy expedition to the North and South Poles that found these like portal-essent ways to travel infinity into the distance of these distant planets, quote unquote, these stars that are their other sun. Yeah, just craziness.
All this interesting stuff.
Yeah, and then really just learning that how much we've been lied to, like energy, right? Energy is everything and everywhere.
Yeah, and everything is energy.
It's we'll jump back over to veganism too, because it kind of goes with everything. So if energy is everything, like the stars are energy, we're energy, the ground is energy, your computer desk is energy, everything is energy. And that energy can never be destroyed, but it can be like transformed or in either a good way or a bad way. And so like all of this energy that we're bombarded with, including what's happening to the animals, because that energy and it all ties together. It really does. Because the energy that, those animals, they feel hopeless. How does most of the world feel? Most of the people feel hopeless. Those animals are in severe pain. Most of the world is in severe pain. And that's all because of the lies. And it goes from, the lies of the earth being flat or round, and it goes from the lies of what we're supposed to be eating. And it really does all tie in together. Once you start untying the knots, you can see how they were tied,
Yep. And another big important thing along with the animal products are the chemicals that are being, and the nanotechnology that is being put in our food. Like it sounds crazy, but if you look it up, they've been putting nanotechnology knowingly in our food since 1990. So and the FDA in 2007 had an FDA nanotechnology safety task force, and they came to the conclusion that, well, nanotechnology is generally considered safe. I think it's GRAS, generally recognized as safe. So it doesn't have to be on any of the labels. Specifically, if they use the larger version of it, such as like titanium dioxide, there's like 2,000 different ingredients that can also be nanotechnology. And that's been in our food since 1990. So that's another big reason why, I'm big on Whole Foods. Whole Foods, if I can look at it and know it's a potato, chances are it hasn't been messed with too much.
Right.
But also the chemicals, not only in our food, but in our
Now,
hygiene
please
products.
clarify, you are speaking of foods that are whole, not the national shopping chain, correct?
Right. Yes. Not Whole Foods. Yeah. Not Amazon.
No, I
grocery
just wanted to
store.
make sure everybody
Yeah, I'm talking
understood
about
you weren't
actual,
like a Whole Foods shill propping
yeah, maybe I'll use natural
corporation.
foods instead. But yeah, the chemicals inside of are such as like our body wash and stuff. It's chock
Oh my
block
God,
full of
look.
carcinogens.
And not just okay, so there's this whole thing with me, and you guys probably, I don't know, you may or may not remember this, but in fact, Michelle was just joking with me about it earlier because I woke up to her having made some hot dogs or something, and I could smell it. And it was just
Class 1 carcinogen right there.
Right. And it was just turning my stomach. I was like, oh God, that smell. She's like, you're the worst with your nose, your wolf nose. That's what we call it, because I can smell just anything. And so with that, man, scented anything, air fresheners drive me berserk. The fucking oil burning, plug it in, and it permeates every pore of your fucking inhalation, and it's oil in your lungs. And it's like, what the fuck is wrong with people? And not just that level of it, but then the things that are in fucking stuff, the fragrance. Do you know how many horrible things they hide under fragrance in that little comma? Fragrance comma, and that's it. That's all they got to tell you. And there's so many deadly, horrible things. There was actually a pretty decent documentary not long ago. I'd have to dig it up. I don't remember. May have been on one of the streamers, may have been a YouTuber, but it was about a guy whose daughter just started having these health issues, and it finally came back to the fragrances that are hiding so many horrible things that we react to.
Yep.
Well, what's really crazy is when you find out that all those fragrances and not just the fragrances, but like plastic, all causes endocrine disruptors. They're all endocrine disruptors, and they mess with your central nervous system and your endocrine system,
your reproductive system.
Your reproductive system. That's why, like the first time in history, there was more deaths than births last year. I think it was last year or the year before. I can't remember what year it was.
By design.
Well, with all this overpopulation we have, we need that.
Yeah. So wait a minute. Let's talk about population. There's 8 billion people.
Allegedly.
There's apparently 8 billion people, right? But
so they say.
But 60 billion animals are slaughtered a year, and 80% of the agriculture that's grown is fed to livestock. 80%. That's crazy.
And yet they say that and yet they say that if everybody goes vegan, the world's going to be overpopulated and nobody's going to have anything to eat. Oh, all the animals' food's gone. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's chemicals in all of those foods that we're all consuming. And the chemicals is a big issue too, not just the animal products. It's the chemicals too, is also one of the biggest issues that we face.
Absolutely. even stuff like high fructose corn syrup, which sounds innocent enough, but it causes so many health issues, and it's a known endocrine disruptor.
And
So, and
addictive as fuck.
yeah,
man.
absolutely.
Well, man, it goes straight to that visceral fat.
Yeah,
Straight to that, and it
parasites
yeah.
keep slurping it up.
Yeah. And so you have and even so you have, you know, high fructose corn syrup. You got what's some of the other ones?
Sodium dichloride, titanium dioxide.
Yeah, it's
so many different ones,
and they all affect us in the brain. And there's heavy metals inside of the foods. It all plays a part, and I think that's a big reason why. And fluoride too, and you can't forget about fluoride.
Oh yeah, fluoride.
It's just the worst of them all.
Well, you know, like the shampoo and the body wash, like,
oh Lord,
it can all be if you take your bottle, right, and you look at the ingredients, and you just pick any ingredient that's like not something you recognize, put it into Google, put plus toxic or plus carcinogen, and see what pops up, and you're gonna realize that we're literally, like, when we're in a shower, we're literally in like a gas chamber for ourselves. Like, I remember being so exhausted, like taking a shower and just having absolutely
being worn out. Yeah, why?
absolutely, which
It should be
should be refreshing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Out
But
of
you know,
my head.
we switched it out. We switched ours out. We don't use regular shampoo, and we have it for the children too. No shampoo, no body wash, no anything that's like in a bottle from the store. We switched it all out for baking soda and apple cider vinegar.
Well, I actually went down a little deep rabbit hole. Oh, wait, let me highlight this comment because I'm definitely coming back to that one, Mr. Super Sidewinder. But I went down a rabbit hole of body oils because of a recurring toe thing that I've had since college. Dorm showers, and even though I wore flip-flops trying to prevent it from happening, I grabbed some kind of otherworldly thing that I've literally fought since college with different things. And I know it's internal, and if I did the right cleanse, it would go away. And I've done many of those cleanses, and yet still it wouldn't go away. And so finally I went down this guy's site, and it was all about the fact that we wash all of our healthy oils away. And most people do it on a daily routine. And you know, the product's not just that the stuff they're made from is horrible, but the actual removal of those body oils causes, you know, the body to be easily then attacked by anything that could attack it parasitically. It causes huge amounts of dysfunction with your body's reaction to things, especially fungal things, which is what I was dealing with between my little toe there. And so I went through his whole little process, which was this thing where you soaked your foot in a solution of hydrogen peroxide and borax for a certain number of days. You dried it off, you applied the topanol or whatever the stuff is. And it's like months of doing this until you finally eradicate this shit, and it goes away and doesn't come back. But it made me change a lot of my hair wash habits. You know, I know a lot of ladies have discovered the secret of infrequent hair washing to make your hair look extra nice and full of body, but it does so much worse stuff to your scalp and to the pores of your hair and your head. And then just look into body oils and what they do for you in a biological state.
Yeah, well, like, our vessels are just they're perfect if we allow them to do what they're supposed to do. And with the oils, you know, putting coconut oil on your skin is just helps so much. Coconut oil, some essential oils. That's one thing that I know has helped my skin, because, you know, when people lose a lot of weight, a lot of times they have a lot of excess skin. We have very, very small amounts of excess skin. Yeah. And coconut oil.
I didn't even think about that in that picture you sent, but no doubt. Yeah, I know the exact thing you're talking about. Yeah, that's.
Now, are you going to tell me cocoa butter is good or bad before I say
coconut?
I use it? No,
No,
not
coconut.
coconut. What about cocoa butter? So you smell like chocolate because I like that.
Yeah, I've
Yes.
actually haven't used cocoa butter, but if it's fresh and it's organic and natural, you know, it
I
has
went
to
through a
be good.
phase of like every year we would go to the Festival International there in Lafayette, and I would grab a big old tub of shea butter because man, my skin is always fighting with horrible, especially during wintertime. I dry out, so I had a whole like love with that for a while. I kind of got off because it was hard to get it. Like normally in the regular world, you would get the crap they would sell in the big box stores, and it wouldn't even compare to what this lady's scooping up out of this big vat, you know, that she's created.
Right.
Because she's from somewhere in Africa or wherever, and it's amazing stuff. Yeah, that I haven't
Right.
had
And once you have the
good
real
stuff in a
stuff,
while. Right, the good stuff spoils you.
yeah, it's so true. It's so true. But yeah, putting oil, coconut oil, olive oil, even I've used. I don't skip out on that ever. It's super important. It nourishes, and you know, whatever you put on your skin it gets absorbed by your body. Everything, no
The
matter where you
biggest
put it on you.
organ of our
Exactly.
system is skin.
Exactly. Whatever you put on your skin affects your entire system.
Yep.
So it's also a good way to just get those good stuffs.
Oh, I forgot. I had this highlight.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Kyler.
You know, it's honestly just this is a little bit off topic, but it's just disgusting what they do to those animals. Like, dude, it's horrible.
And he's never watched any of those.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have them watch that. You know,
Right, right. Oh,
Don't
no,
watch
no.
that
That's
work.
great.
It's like when you get older, you can watch it if you want. But
Right. Well, just
Yeah.
hearing about it should be, you know, plenty of trauma to make it understandable. Earlier, I highlighted this when we were kind of throwing some of the things to be on the lookout. You guys had talked about the silicon dioxide and the Mr. Super Sidewinder was mentioning aluminum lake, which is another ingredient that
Oh,
does
yes.
so much damage. Don't use freaking underarm deodorant to plug up your fucking pores with aluminum, please, people. Anyway, but one that a lot of people miss and it does slip under some radars, especially of parents, is red 40.
Oh, yeah.
My God. I was doing it to myself for years and didn't understand what was going on when I would drink certain drinks or eat certain candies, you know, all the bad shit we do. But what brought it into focus is Quentin when he was a baby and a young boy and just trying to figure out what would make him flip the switch. Because you guys remember him. He would walk up and like literally put his hand on wherever your hurt spot was and just put the healing on you because he was just a natural healer. And the flip
This
of
is
the
our
switch.
joke on the camera.
I'm sorry.
I thought I was on mute. I'm sorry.
Okay, but the flip of the switch of him just flipping and being out of control and hard to manage, and so finally doing a lot of research, and this was pre-internet, me going to the library trying to figure this shit out, and found some stories about Red 40 and what it was doing, and so began to remove that from his life and my life. And then now, anytime I fuck up and get it in something I don't realize has it, it literally makes me feel like I'm about to jump out of my skin. Not in a like
a good way.
No, not. I mean, it's
not
just
in a
that's
good way.
literally how I feel. Like I can't stand the way my skin feels on me. I want it off me. That's what I feel like, and it's infuriating that they have something out there for children in every fucking drink. Goo and healthy fruit snacks are good for your kid. You fucking idiots.
And then you mix in the gelatin with there and you have a whole
do you
whole
guys
new monster.
Do you guys all know where gelatin or how it's actually made and where it comes from?
Unfortunately, I do, but you can share, please.
Go ahead and enlighten us.
Close your ears if you like Jello.
Kyler's going to tell you guys about gelatin.
So gelatin, right? It's what they have in all like the gummy foods and Jello. It's like the main ingredient in Jello.
Right.
And yeah, like all like candy, gummy candy and stuff. And it's basically the bones and whatever's left after they make the meat of the animals all crushed up into powdery stuff and put into foods to make it,
Yeah,
it's gross.
and then they put their red 40 food dye in some weird thing that makes your taste buds think that this tastes good, because that's what it is. If you ate it without any food coloring or fake, flavor, you would spit it out. And so with red 40, have you seen the stuff with red 40 lake? It says lake at the end of it, or yellow number 5 lake.
Oh yeah,
or blue
anytime they add
number
the
4.
lake, that's just amping it up and making it even worse.
Well, anytime it says lake, that means it has aluminum in it.
Yep, it's also heavy metal.
It's heavy metals, and that goes straight to the brain.
Well, and also all those things have nanotechnology versions of it.
Yep.
So, looking into the nanotechnology stuff is super interesting. And
Oh yeah.
And it's crazy. It's crazy because there's delicious organic vegan gummy candies. I don't consider them candies, but they don't have any of that stuff in them. And you can make Jello. We've had vegan Jello.
Was it agar?
Agar is really
yeah.
good. Pectin is really good in a lot of
One of my
vegan
favorite throat lozenges ever was one that used apple pectin as its main ingredient. It was all natural. I actually got it at that same health food store here in Lafayette I was talking about earlier. And I didn't even understand. It was early on. I didn't know why it was so much better for my throat. What it was doing was so much more soothing than all that other crap you could get over the counter. So, but yeah, pectin's great stuff.
And
I did look it up while we were on the air tonight, and the perfect compromise food for everybody. I can't think of anybody that this wouldn't work for, because it is done perfectly vegan. Chocolate covered cherries that I'm eating now are like perfect. If you do it with the dark chocolate, I think we can all agree on it.
That cacao not high enough, and you
some
can
good
slip
cherries.
under. You can slip by.
Some good cherries, and it can be done. It can be done very, very well. And I was looking at the different varieties of the chocolate covered cherries out there that were vegan or even plant based. You can call it what you want, but I'm in. I'm in on the cherry parts.
Heck yeah.
Our friend there in chat, Decoded, says, if you stop eating junk and stick to a natural, non-GMO organic food diet, you won't have a need for nasty deodorants because you won't smell.
That's true. We don't use deodorant.
Because your body's not excreting all those toxins any longer. That's an amazing idea. I never even put those together there, Decoded. Never.
I haven't wore deodorant in like 6 years, and I don't ever stink. I can go outside and run around and sweat and get all sweaty and just, whatever. I never smell bad ever. It's crazy because it's like, shouldn't I like smell like, and even now, even after it's been this long, I'm like, man, like,
because you used to be stink.
Well, what do you think we should tell them, that like losing your ability to smell is part of the vegan process?
Right, there you go. Y'all are headed downhill. David M there in chat uses coconut oil with cannabis and baking soda for his deodorant. That's an
how
idea.
could that be
That's
wrong?
great.
Oh, that sounds so.
That sounds like
And
I'm going to make some tonight.
Thinking, why limit that to under your arms?
All right, just rub that all over.
Absolutely, yeah. Go coconut oil, full body. Heck yeah.
Okay, I don't like deodorant either. The aluminum. I am totally anti all the chemicals. I'm playing devil's advocate on all of this because
Zeus Scott, fermented garlic and raw
you're better
honey.
people on your diet than I am, and
they're amazing. I'm so envious.
I love it.
Strive to be this way, but
right.
Well, one thing that has really helped motivate me is once I realized that like we are the divine embodied. Like we are, this body is the temple of awareness, is the temple of, you could say God, right? If that's a word that we like. And as such, I once I really understood that, it's my responsibility, like, to take care of it as well as possible, and to make this as, and this could just be my calling, I don't know, but make my vessel as pure of a vessel as possible for that to shine through and to experience it, because I was really miserable before, and that was really horrible.
Yep. And you know, and I want to touch real quick again on what Keith said about, you know, he knew vegans, quote unquote vegans, who had to start eating, you know, whatever to get there. And it's like if you just wait a little bit longer, you'll see the big positive changes. Yeah, you are going to detox out some garbage.
Absolutely.
And that doesn't feel good. Toxins hurt twice, when they're going in and when they're coming out. So, you know, and once you don't have toxins anymore.
What is your wait a
and
little bit longer though? What exactly is
Well,
like a
until you
cutoff?
feel good.
Okay,
Well-
so if you've been like a vegan for like 20 years and you think that's your lifestyle, but the doctors say if you want to live, you have to have, or you like your body tells you
Why
need marrow
would
breath
you
or
go to the
something.
doctor?
You didn't go to
Right,
the doctor,
exactly.
okay? So I'm saying that you can't get strength and
I mean, so
Well-
shit. I'll stop.
yeah. No, I'm just curious on the thing because I do know people that still live that live the vegan and they feel very healthy. I have people that have even used it a long time and it worked for them for years and years, and then later on it didn't work. I have people, you know, in other words, I'm pretty old and I've seen, I mean, in my childhood it was the vegetarian and you didn't have the vegan and that, but I've seen people go in and out of, and once they have stayed the lifestyle for their entire life. I've
Right.
pretty much seen it all, and
Right, different.
just different people, and it
Parts of the
works differently
spectrum,
for different
right.
people. And I find what I find it's the intent, and like anything else, the amount of effort and love you put into it. If you
Absolutely.
make it a burden, it's not going to work for you. You know, I mean, if you make it such a burden that you resent it, or that it's not going to, I don't think that you can eat your
Right.
way past the resentment. But if you can do it with love and put love into your food and do this, and again, to me, to put love into it and eat that, that's like, again, the purest state. I think it's something I'm certainly not going to criticize you for in the least. I mean, I think it's something we can all aspire to, but people, if their body isn't reacting, or that, I don't know if I could say to people, you have to tough it out, wait a little bit longer if it's
Yeah, right. And I also, I've gone through various types of, you know, cleanses and their various changes, and there are definite ends of the spectrum. And so there are ways to do it gently and slowly, and there are ways to do it quickly and painfully. And there's a balance that you have to find for your own self. I'm saying all this because I know Sarah G. Inland see there saying the very same thing. You can detox and not be in pain, because not everyone is that debilitated going in. It's part of it as well. Just pacing, I guess, is part of it. It's almost impossible to avoid some type of healing trauma.
Absolutely.
It's just almost impossible, but it is something you can definitely mitigate and be aware that, you know, just do a lot of
Absolutely.
research, talk to a lot of people, and find the one that works for you. Because there are quite many ways to do this, from, you know, chucking down some turpentine, eating some diatomaceous earth, simple diet changes, major cleanses that invoke horrible gastrointestinal upset. Yeah, there's a variety. I mean, there's a variety of ways to approach this. And I don't know them all, and I'm definitely not a doctor, nor do I play one here on IRM, but
right. I know
definitely,
that you do the same thing to two people, they might react,
and they could
will
be
probably react
totally
differently.
different, right?
So that's where I say that, like, this, if it can work for you, that's the purest state. In my oldness, I almost like give up on the idea of that there's one easy answer for everybody. Shambhala, you know what I mean? That it goes that easy. I almost think you have to find your way and do your best. Where
Right.
you're doing your best.
I love it.
Try to do better.
Tyler in chat. Eggs are disgusting.
Round of applause. We gotta give him a round of applause.
Well, you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy is a lot of the things that people do with eggs, you can do with plant-based stuff. Like, for instance, tofu. Tofu is so good. Like, we,
Okay,
as a matter of fact,
Yeah, as long as it's not GMO.
yeah,
Right.
GMO
I am
soy.
going
Yeah,
to
yeah.
I'm going to jump in here on it. right now, eggs taste, for some reason, this is newly acquired. Eggs taste like pure sulfur to me, and I cannot tolerate them in any way,
So
shape, or
you had
form.
a change internally then,
So
for
something
sure.
changed
Right.
internally, and tofu tastes good to me. I am telling you that if you would have
Mhm.
said the thing 2 years ago to me, I went to the vegan. I went to expensive vegan restaurants. Some of the things like the cauliflower wings and that were impressive, but I was honestly probably happier with the chicken version of it and spending again because the cauliflower, the expensive one was like $38 for a little entree. It was a joke. I've done good, bad, and that in vegan. I've tried it. And I didn't think the tofu was so good until my body changed and all of a sudden it tastes delicious. And right now I want to eat nothing more than beets. I mean, beets are my go-to food.
That was a left turn I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting.
Yeah,
Beets. Yeah, they're really
beets,
great for your blood
beets.
flow,
They
man.
really
Oh my
are.
God, I cannot stay away from the beets. But body changes. And again, eggs I thought were the healthiest. My body loved eggs. It processed it. It loved it. It did well with it. And all of a sudden that stopped. I don't know if there's a
Your
right
body
answer
knows.
for even
Yeah.
anybody. Like I almost wonder if it's where you are in time, where you are in
Right.
life,
And in
Time,
where you are in
conscious
time.
energy,
in
vibration,
consciousness. Yeah.
everything. It's all part of it. I mean,
Because
I was kind
everybody
of
kept on
sidetracked.
telling me how good tofu tasted, and I kept on tasting it. It's like, I know y'all think this tastes good, but
It
I know
really
you.
depends on who. It really depends on who prepared
Who
it. It
knows what
really
they're
does.
doing?
Even with the
Yeah.
people, I know that's what everybody would say, and it's like, okay, I know, and then people, oh, this is delicious. It's delicious to me now. It is, and I
Right.
taste it now. But there's other times I was tasting it, it's like, yeah, you just keep telling yourself that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But right
Well,
now, it really does taste better.
Your
So
body really will
your
let you
body,
know. It will let you know. I mean, as I
Mhm.
was talking about the pizzas
Mhm.
earlier, when I had changed and started eating better as just realizations and need, and my body just wanted it. And suddenly I was actively seeking out like salads and making crazy, it just, and when I went out to Oregon to take my mom and them out there, and my brother, I hadn't seen him in probably 10 years. And he was just blown away. It's like, dude, that's the salad in front of you, right? Are you okay? That's not like lasagna. And you're okay. He was freaking out. And I desired it. I wanted it. It's still part of what I do. It's like, I love it. And it just never goes away. And same thing with fruits, as
Mhm.
I had started doing the juicing and really learning about the different tastes of these different sugars and their natural state, not in a fucking carton on the shelf, how juice can really
Mhm.
be amazing, like freaking nectar, from the gods,
Seriously.
literally. So
Like
yeah.
grapes are just the
Once you
best thing
oh
ever.
my god, my sister, every time we're gaming, she's chomping on some grapes in my ear. That's her go-to. That's her thing.
doing
So
this lately
good.
with the beets, the best. Right now, I probably
Mhm.
am entirely vegan just because that's the only thing my body wants, except for cottage
Right.
cheese isn't. But pretty close. I'm vegan plus cottage
there's
cheese. Yeah.
there's really, really, really good vegan cheeses on the market right now.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any cottage cheese,
I
but I
think,
bet we can make. I bet
yeah.
you can make
Oh,
one.
you could definitely make some cottage cheese.
It's just
Like,
good to put beets in before eating.
Oh yeah, it's
Sorry.
good with the beets.
It's good
yeah.
with the beets.
It's a good meat carrier.
It's a beet.
That's
It's a
great.
good beet carrier. Is exactly that's what I use it as. Just a beet. I don't need it by itself. It's for the beets. That's so funny. But I bet there is good, and I mean that would be easy for me at this point because it doesn't taste good. But sometimes again, in the past, not in the last year, but in the past, I understand that nothing would taste better than a steak, even though the thought of it grosses me out right now. It's pretty funny. I can speak both sides because my taste buds are
Yeah.
on your side, but I've been on the other side.
Oh yeah,
Been
us
there.
too. Us too.
Real quick, Dave Hinkle, what's up there in chats? Asking, should anyone be telling others what to eat? Well, absolutely not. We're all just speaking about things in our individual lives that has or hasn't worked for us, gotten us to a certain point, or really messed us up one way or the other. For sure, nobody here is claiming to have all the answers there. Dave, you
Right.
should know that by now, hanging
Still
out
on
with
a
us, my
journey.
friend. We're all working our way through this. And if any of this helps you out, then I definitely hope it does. Wait, where was the other one real quick? Wait, one more.
Okay.
Damn it. I lost it. It's gone. It's gone.
Growing your plants and that when you
I'll find
garden
it.
and talking to them with love also adds in a whole other element of I think
Mhm.
health,
Oh yes,
and they
I
just
agree.
taste sweeter, and I mean there's something there. There's something there.
Yes,
The
it like
intention and the
invites
love.
spirit into
Mhm.
it.
I have something for Dave right here. I see what you're saying, Dave, and I never tell anyone what they should or shouldn't eat because I don't have that right. But what we should be doing is doing our research, finding out that we've been lied to about what food is, and we should be saying, hey, animals aren't human food. Now, if you want to eat an animal, that's you have your own journey that you have to go through. It shouldn't be happening, and especially with the way that the agricultural stuff is all set up with how mistreated the animals are. Like Dave, go to don'twatch.org and watch that little 7-minute video. Okay, should you be eating that? Is that what you want to eat? That's what whenever you go to the supermarket and you pay for meat, that's, first of all, the meat in supermarkets has already been dead for over a month. They've injected a whole bunch of chemical flavors in it. So are you really eating meat? I don't think so. And so my thing is, no, we shouldn't be telling people what to eat, but we should be saying, hey, that's not real food. That's that's not
sharing our experience.
And basically, I know vegans have a bad rep about, oh, you're a pushy vegan. Okay, well, how come when I turn on when I turn on the TV or anything, even on YouTube, and you see a commercial for food, it's usually a big, fat, disgusting looking burger with disgusting cheese on it. And it's like, who's really the pushy ones here? Who's really the pushy ones? Like, yeah, you see some vegan commercials lately because there's a lot more products coming out. But usually the more rude, the super rude people are the ones who are eating the meat. And I can tell you why. It's not because they're really rude. It's because, well, they're being told, well, first of all, you're eating the wrong diet. Because if you're eating meat, you're eating the wrong diet. That's just science. That's just science, in my opinion. I've done enough research and stuff. And so now, should I say you shouldn't be eating it? Well, I mean, it's kind of like a limbo type thing. It's like, yeah, you know what I mean?
We don't want to should all over you,
yeah, but at the same time, and being informed about how our bodies process, because when we're in school, we're not taught how your body works. We're taught ABCs, 1, 2, 3, which is somewhat important, but really health is more important above everything. And in school, you're not taught anything about health. Nothing.
Oh, we've been taught about health. It just changes.
Well, they turned health into either you go take the cooking class or you go to the gym. That's basically what they turned.
And now they're
trying,
right.
Don't you remember the food pyramids? Because we're the first generation that they sent our parents to work, where they told us the perfect food on Saturday morning while watching cartoons was pizza, because it had all the food groups in it. It had servings of cheese, bread, and everything all together. No, they did. They did commercials for us on Saturday morning in the early 70s. You can watch the educational food groups and how you should eat this many things out of each group, except for, of course, it's changed.
I prefer a hunk of a slice of chunk of. I hanker for a hunk of cheese.
Fun fact is Salisbury steak. I love this one. Salisbury steak is named after Dr. Salisbury, who, when he put it out there, he was in the food business and a doctor in this. He put it out as a doctor working on getting the perfect diet for the human body and that. And he thought it would be healthy to eat 3 times a day. He thought he'd developed the perfect food. And so Salisbury steak was actually put out by a doctor as like a medicinal. This has all of in the gravy and the thick gravy and the meat. But look up, the thing is, Salisbury steak came as a medicinal from Dr. Salisbury.
That's hilarious. Along with the other things like cigarettes that were sold,
along with
as
the
health,
cigarettes
and
that were sold for good
Coca-Cola.
health. Exactly. So you have
It depends on
it is the same timeline as the Coca-Cola and it's the exact same timeline. But yeah, a little bit earlier on Dr. Salisbury, I think. But yes. So what they sell this as far as health and what your own research is, then instead of saying it's against the science would tell you, you would be better off saying my own research I've done serious research on it.
Right, because there's science to say anything, really.
Because our science follows capitalism, and our science, you'll notice between the 70s and that, because then it was good. Sugar was good in the 70s and it wasn't in the 80s and 90s. And so they kept the cereals, but instead of sugar crisp, it got to be corn crisp, and instead of, or honey crisp. Yeah. Everything that's got honey in its title at the supermarket on the honey or super used to be sugar instead in that word, and it just got named out. The sugar stayed in the recipe, but they took it out of the title because it's not healthy anymore.
Right.
So,
Deception.
Yep. So in chat, Jim Eldred said vegan triggers folks, and I can tell you why. I can tell you why. Because whenever you're hearing, oh, what's happening to the animals, people start thinking, oh, well, wait a minute, I don't want to be responsible for that. But you are, because as long as you're going to the supermarket or whatever and you're buying that food, you're literally paying for those processes to continue. You're literally paying for that to continue. So whenever people are hearing vegan who aren't vegan, they get triggered. It's because, well, they don't want to take responsibility for what they're helping to continue to go. The way the animals are being treated is literally and the longest Holocaust in existence. It's literally what it is. So that's why people get triggered whenever vegan is brought up, because it starts bringing up these emotions in them. And again, energy, being an energy healer and stuff, I can tell you, the energy from the animal products, from the way they're treated, doesn't just go away. So when you're eating the animal products, you're eating their pain.
Oh well,
You're
yeah,
eating their
that's the
suffering.
adrenochrome that they was talking
Exactly.
about earlier.
It
Yeah.
doesn't go away.
Oh,
It
you
doesn't
have
go
that
away.
choice, though. You have that, like, I can drive down the street and there's a market called Belu's, and they work with Milky Way Farms and the other cattle thing, where they have literally, they're working on, again, people that are very health and very friendly. The meat and everything is more money, but they work on painless and they work on the animals humanely treated, and that you pay more for the meat. You don't have as much meat, but it is available.
I'm sorry. And I know it's
I agree with the way that
it's a tough line to walk, guys.
It's a tough
It's
line
hard
to
for all
walk.
of us to figure this path out. And
that's where
as
we
far as the
all
trigger thing, I mean,
as far as the
everybody
trigger
here
thing,
should remember their first exposure to flat Earth and God damn. Real quick before it goes away, I had it white twice now, and I want to make sure I thank Wes Epi. Thank you so much for that tip there on the rock pens. We're not ignoring you, rock pen people. I love you all. Thank you so much. I know you're over here too, Wes, but I just wanted to say thanks for that. Thank you so much. But yeah, the ideas that
the vegans attack that, but that should be attacked regardless of what you eat. In other words,
it should be a
people
life
say that
thing,
they're
not
triggered
just
because the vegans attack that, but everybody should be attacking the way that we treat animals. Everybody should have a problem with
Absolutely.
it.
And
well, at the same time, everybody should be attacking the way we treat plants as well. There is no
Absolutely.
plant,
I agree.
And the way we treat
plant treated
children.
well
We're gonna get into
when it
it.
comes to farming. Farming has nothing to do with care or love of those plants or seeds.
I'm so glad you brought this up, because
you see praying anymore on their fields. You don't see that anymore. I mean, it's all about money now and pesticides and all these horrible chemicals they put on them. And it's not a natural state.
No nutrients in the soil anymore. Nobody rotates
Being
crops
planted
anymore.
in a row right next to one of your kind is not natural. That's not how it was meant to be. They're meant to be among other plants. Every plant has a counter plant to it out there. You find a poisonous plant, you're going to find the cure right next to it.
Yeah, Zach, but the gods gave us agriculture and taught us how to do that, man. Why are you poo-pooing on farming? I'm being very silly because I think that's part of the whole scheme that's got us where we are. Yep.
Yeah, like during farming, you need, like, loving the plants is just as important as watering it. You don't want to be going around, with a negative attitude. You want to be grateful. It's not need, but it's
And the fact that they're growing it with the intention for profit, not the intention of nourishment, not the intention, no good intentions, just for profit. Like that plays a big part in the, the goodness of the produce as well. You have anything to say, Myles?
I think your Emoto work and everything you see, it's everything.
Absolutely. Intention is everything.
I've been wanting to say this since I've started wanting to say this, but I forgot for a bit.
You want to turn to the camera? Make it to a week.
I'm actually pretty nervous. I'm actually on live stream right now. I'm actually pretty nervous. So yeah.
You're pretty relaxed though, Myles, I have to say.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well for being on my first live stream. I mean, at least I didn't get too nervous. I break the computer with this hand.
Do you have anything you want to say?
So basically, guys, I have a recommendation. Basically, if you want more info about God and that stuff and the good stuff, go to your local library and try to find this book after this live stream, A Course in Miracles. This book is actually really good, and also look at this shirt.
Yeah, let's see if we can get it better. What does it say, Myles?
I don't eat my homies. Course in Miracles. Try to find a book that's
Course in Miracles. Who wrote it? Do you know offhand there? Anyone?
Well, it's kind of an odd thing. It wasn't. She didn't write it. She scribed it.
That's fine. I'm going to find it. I wrote it down.
I think it's called the Foundation for Inner Peace. I think is who printed it.
Yeah,
they were touring with David Wilcox for a number of years, and I met them years ago when they were starting off.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Go back on that with the Course in Miracles, and that I am like 99% positive on that. That again before David Wilcox was on TV, and this would go back like 15 years, 20 years ago. I am almost positive. That's so familiar.
Thank you for saying this kid is a legend. Yeah!
That was a good recommendation if you did that. You did so good. So much braver than I was.
Thank you, everyone.
My first time.
I was just clarifying.
So, guys, we need young truthers. Very true, and you have one. Myles, an absolute legend. Thank you, Deco Time.
So
Thank you.
Before we went live, Myles, you were talking about before we went live some of the stuff that you guys learned being homeschooled about where we live, about this place that we're in, this place they call Earth, and what your ideas might be about that. What do you think about where we live, the Earth?
I honestly think it's just a random generation of land that just keeps going and going forever. I honestly think I honestly think that. I think we're just in a random generation of land. Then you walk one step, here's another piece of land for you.
Wow, so it's like generating as you experience it, it generates it around you. Is that kind of what you mean?
You don't eat your
Are you listening?
homies, LOL, great shirt.
So Myles, is it that as you proceed out into that land, is it being created for you as you go? Like they call that procedurally generated in video games. Is that the idea that it's okay? I'm just trying to clarify.
I just think it's random. I just honestly think it's a random generation of land that you can never decide. It just keeps going and going until you want to stop and go back through all that land, and then it degenerates, and then it regenerates a new thing because you don't remember.
Right, there you go.
And then you remember something else being here, and then
And now he's kind of touching on the Mandela effect when it regenerates and there's something different than there was before. So
to add on to that, so let's say if you're really spinning like that fast, like how fast they say you're spinning, and you're whipping around like this, or you just be jelly. Life wouldn't be sustainable on a planet that's spinning that fast or moving through this vacuum.
Yeah.
It's not possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true.
You guys are amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's funny is probably about a year after we went vegan, we didn't really push it on the children. Kyler kind of followed a couple months after we did, and then probably about a year later, we were on our way to get him some food from Myles, some food from Burger King. He really loved chicken fries. And this was early in our journey, so
Right.
Yeah.
we were on our way to get him some chicken fries, and we just couldn't do it anymore. And we kind of stopped and we looked in the back seat and we're like, "Hey, buddy, we just wanted to tell you that chicken is made from chickens, like actual the animals."
Yeah,
And what'd you say, Myles?
I don't want to eat that.
I
I
don't wanna eat
literally said
animals.
I don't want to eat animals.
Yep.
I don't want to eat animals.
Yep.
Animals bring peace.
Oh, that's
Honestly,
awesome.
I get it.
That's
I get it.
beautiful.
You have the urge to squish a spider or something, but like if you squish every single spider in the world will be overpopulated with flies. Like the spiders is helping the world from turning into regular world to fly mode.
Right. We don't need Fly World.
Yeah, we do not want all of the place to be turned into flies. Yeah. So yeah, I know you might have yours. Hey, thank you. I'm the kid smart.
Never been to public
Yes,
school.
yes, I do.
Well, you know
I was
what
going
they
to
do.
say, tell them how you were educated there. You were homeschooled, right?
Miles and Kyler are a couple
Whoa.
of young individuals with great
Well, hold on,
wisdom,
Miles.
and it's
Can you read that
beautiful to see.
quietly? Can you read that silently when you read it? You know, the cool thing is Kyler did go to school for a couple of years, but once I got pregnant for Myles, I just knew that I wanted our family to be different. I wanted, you know, siblings to be close. I wanted us all to know each other, really. And Myles, we do unschooling, which means it's life-led learning. We don't have a curriculum. We don't sit them down and be like, you know, these are facts and stuff. We go off of whatever they're interested in. We'll research it. Whatever I'm interested in, I'll be researching. I'll share with them. You know, we consistently have stimulating conversations, trying to look at all different angles of stuff as well. And
I love
Myles,
that unschooling. That is so great.
oh yeah, and you could really see a difference in how they how they are. And he actually taught himself how to read before the age of 5, just through talking. And he also at the same time taught himself how to write by writing in the dirt and writing with chalk and stuff. And so it really blew my mind on like, okay, well, school is harmful. It's so harmful in so many ways, and it's unnecessary as well.
There's a guy out there, John Taylor Gatto, who is just like this legend in unschooling. He was I think New York State Teacher of the Year. I think he was United States of America Teacher of the Year multiple times. And he came to the conclusion that the public school system is just stifling and literally retarding our children to the point of neglect and probably criminality.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And you know, you can go deep into a whole bunch of stuff, even health-wise, like they're not getting enough sleep. They're sitting in these hard plastic chairs that aren't like, no wonder we all have back pain.
Right.
You know, we were sitting in that for 12 years minimum, most of us.
As the child sits and stares out the window, longing to be out in nature, oh no, you need to pay attention or we're going to put you on medication. Stop acting like a child. It's like the most insane system that anyone could ever think of sending their innocent, loving child off into.
And it's getting worse and worse.
Yeah, especially with the ABC mafia. I don't want to say too much around little ears or
Right,
on the thing,
no,
but
yeah, I
you
got
know,
you.
it's
Yeah,
a little
we
crazy,
know.
you know?
It's fucking nuts. It's
Hey,
fucking,
boy, I want to answer
Innocence needs to be preserved. Like it needs to
really
be,
does.
innocence is our biggest treasure and it needs to be protected and celebrated and all that good stuff.
Agreed. Yep. I want to point out a couple of things. I see well, actually just one thing really. For instance, I see a lot of people are saying kid. Well, that's kind of like kind of goes in hand in hand with everything. It's like a play on words. Like kid
Is a baby
means
goat.
is a baby goat.
Yeah,
And
we
well,
actually
so
have had that discussion here on our
and
channel, and
who
still we're so ingrained in us that it's hard to break
Absolutely.
these
hey, I
fucking
do it
habits.
too, but I
I do
always
it
try to
still. I
remind
was
myself.
calling you by your name. I stop. I quit. You know, it's just
Exactly.
hard to change these things
Yeah.
sometimes.
And I always try to remind myself. But what I'd figured out, we'd gotten into reading some old like religious stuff, and like I'm not really for anyone or religion. I just but well, who's represented like a goat? Baphomet. All right, and what's a kid? Well, it's a baby goat. And so have you ever heard the term the kids of God? No, you don't hear that. It's always the children of God. So I really
I
and
like that.
it's weird because you don't hear the children of Satan, you hear the kids of Satan or whatever. That's what you usually hear. So the children, I really try to say children because I don't know, like the
Words
whole
are
baby
powerful.
words are very powerful, and that's the thing. And I think I had touched on this with you guys last time I was on the show. We were talking about words and how it all goes into vibrational frequency, because when you're speaking a vibrational frequency. You're spelling out it's abracadabra. Abracadabra literally means I create as I speak.
So, Damascus, what do you
Mhm.
call a group of crows? Just out of curiosity.
Oh yeah, isn't that considered a murder, right?
Why, depends, I suppose.
Honestly,
It could mean that a murder is defined as a gathering of crows, and
Right.
B, the unlawful taking of another human life, or another life. We don't have to put human tag on there. Any life, we could call
Right.
it murder. I'm with you on that.
True.
So could it have just two definitions?
Yeah.
Like kid, couldn't kid mean also a child? Kid defined as a child, B, young goat.
Right. I see what you're saying, but at the same time, the original, if I really do a lot of study into like etymology, which is basically like where the word originated from, what it originally meant, and stuff like that. And so even though, like, for instance, like we, especially in the English language, we have a bunch of words that sound the same but are spelled differently. But they, like, for instance, I'm trying to think of one of the words.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm having a brain fog right now, but
Well, I'm just looking up stuff while you're thinking it through. Kid is actually not a native English word. It is borrowed
Dramatic.
from Old Norse, young goat, kid, and its descendants can still be found in modern Scandinavian languages, i.e., killing, literally meaning kidling in Swedish, also means young goat. The word kid in Swedish has been changed now, meaning young deer. Finally, the English verb kid is probably derived from the noun, meaning to treat as a child. So yeah, this really didn't help at all. And this is Miriam's. I went to Miriam's. I'm thinking, okay, help me here, and this is crap.
Now, my name is Josh. So you could say, hey, I'm just joshing you. Hey, I'm just joking. Hey, I'm just kidding. It was a kid, right? We have a whole nother definition of the word kid, a put on, a joke.
Right.
I mean, we can define the word kid multiple different ways, even though it has nothing to do with the original derivation and where it came from. It can then take on and morph and to have other definitions. I don't think it necessarily can then be ascribed to having a negative connotation and say, well, because we called the child a kid, we're delegating him to nothing more than a young goat. I mean, I really don't think there's that necessarily. That's in modern.
It's basically it's more of a frequency, really. The words are just words. It's really the frequency from the word, from the spoken word. For instance, like a lot of the old gods from back in the day. I'm talking about the Egyptian gods and all that stuff. the ones that were like the evil ones, they were always known as like trickster gods. And so that's where the word kidding comes from, because all of these trickster gods would play tricks on the people. And so, and since like a lot of the, and not in all cases was the goat put on with like evil stuff, but a lot of cases it was. And so that's where the kidding comes from. But yeah, I just wanted
Baby
to.
goats are really cute, though.
Yeah, they are. Baby
No,
goats. are actually-
we talk a lot about these ideas that, you know, spelling
do.
is called that for a reason.
Absolutely.
These words.
Absolutely.
have
Well, you go
been-
to school, you learn spelling words, and
Absolutely. So
what,
yeah,
what
Yes.
They
Josh
used to
tends to
teach
be the
cursive.
devil's advocate.
I
quite
do
often
tend
We
to
as
be
well.
love
the
it.
devil's
I
Yeah.
love this kind of
yeah,
conversation.
it's great.
I
They
found an
took away
interesting.
cursive from the kids. Are you teaching your kids cursive writing?
Oh, interesting, Cameron.
I want to know.
No,
I want
not
to know.
currently, but if they become
I think you
interested in
should.
it,
I think
if they become interested
should.
in it, we'll definitely would.
Children, if you want to be interested in something that's a skill they're taking away from everybody in your age group, you'll be able to read old texts.
You'll be ahead of the game for
Well,
that. I'm
he
sure.
writes. Damascus writes only in cursive.
Yeah,
so
I-
they're,
Oh, then you
they're-
do. Okay,
yeah,
then they are.
so-
They're not teaching in public school.
Constitution
They took that
was
away.
written in cursive.
Yeah.
The Constitution is written in cursive. They've taken that
Right.
away
Well,
from the children. So for sure, let them. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
listen to that word cursive.
Cursive. I know what I.
Cursive.
Right.
I know.
Oh,
And
Yes,
you're
I know.
binding.
We know.
It's
and
a
you're
binding.
Yeah, I figured. I just, maybe.
We know, but I think they
And
should
we're
be
binding
aware
the
of
words.
the occulted
Absolutely.
If they can
languages.
hide it in it, I would know
Well,
it. You
well,
know,
the
that would just
magic,
be-
like the black magic that is used here, is really our own magic.
Mhm.
Turned against us.
Exactly.
Like, the healing thing, the energy healing stuff. And you were talking about Quentin. And, the amazing thing is we all are Reiki. Reiki is just a term someone used so they can sell it. Really, it's energy healing that we all innately have. But, without intention and without really knowing and understanding, we don't know how to use it. But, through intention and putting our hands on places, like you said, Quentin, naturally, some people just naturally do it, but we all definitely can do it.
Yeah.
Now, you're like him. This would be up your hexing would be up your alley with what you're doing in the word play and that hexing. When you hex something, they use
Right.
hexing a lot. So hexing
right.
in modern use would be like what they're doing with the LBGT rainbow. They took the 7 colors of the rainbow and they hexed
Yep.
it into 6 colors. Or when they solemnized music, they took the chords and hexed it into the 6. The solemnization of music is what that was called, but it's hexing. And
Right.
hexing is spellcasting, and you can look for where they change the 7s into 6s and see that they've hexed,
Right, 'cause
that they're
7's
actively
completion.
hexing, like again, actively doing with the rainbow right now.
I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
I muted at the wrong
And
time.
not only did they bring it to 6, but they flipped it over.
Exactly. They
They
inverted
flipped it over,
They
and now the
hexed,
purple's
they
at the
hexed it and
bottom.
inverted it. Yes, they did.
Yep.
Spot on in it. So you see the different games they're doing. I pulled up for you all
Absolutely.
etymology of
So-
children. I
go
don't know if
ahead.
we wanted or not. It was for you, Walt, in
I
the
was,
chat. We could be past it now, but yeah, I love how you can break and again drill down on things. I love it that you're doing
Well-
it. And it was I'm not letting anybody else talk, but I will shut up in a minute. It was I looked it up and dropped it in the chat for you for humor for your A Course of Miracles. I went to a conference on that with my husband, and I dropped the link into the conference we went to. It was your people, and it was in 2009, so it was a huge blast from my past with David
Oh, that's
Wilcox,
great.
and Larry Sayer was doing all of the main talking. I don't know if you know Larry Sayer from Course of Miracles, but this was back in 2009, and it was
I'm gonna
wonderful
drop it in
material.
all the chats.
Oh,
if you
okay,
don't
awesome.
mind.
Any
And,
word.
another thing.
Sorry, just
Oh,
real
go
quick.
ahead.
Any word over there on Rockfin says toddler seems a better word.
Yeah, because children comes with a female connotation and different things with it that you may not know. Toddler might be
Very interesting.
They note that children can mean a fetus, and it's a newborn and a fetus, and even as a very newborn, it's usually more of a feminine than a masculine, but not really what I would use to describe your fine young sons
Right.
that are so bright.
Untitled is such a good word. Like if
Titled, I
I
like.
were a First Amendment auditor, that's how I would have cops dismissed.
Just
They would just title
title
off.
on.
Just title
Yeah,
off, title
title.
on.
Yeah.
Title is good.
Just yeah. And
Well,
That's true.
if we want to get really down to the nitty gritty, none of us are any of that stuff.
Yeah.
None of us are any of that stuff. Literally, this is what we are.
You want me to
We
stop?
are infinite
I mean, you can continue if you want.
beings. Okay, like for instance, you're not Walter, you're not Josh, you're not Cammy, you know, whatever. You're not Zachary. You are you're the possibility of like everything. You are everything that ever is, was, or can be, having a brief experience in this now. So like all of the words and all this stuff, it's all for like labeling and stuff like that. And it's just, you know, like if we got away from that kind of stuff as a society, I think we would be heading in a better direction, you know. And that's where that's what we're trying to do here with our family. Like, I don't want to do what everyone else is doing. Like, it's been done. Why? What's the point? When does it get better? When does it change?
Right.
Who's
It's
the
been
voice?
done, and look at where we all are
Yeah,
now.
like
Yeah, everyone's been
Exactly.
eating meat for 4,000 years or
Yes.
whatever they say, and yet cancers are the worst that they've ever been. All of these childhood diseases, which really most of them
Yeah.
you really come from vaccines, a lot of them, and the vaccines and the quote unquote food all works together. It all works in disharmony.
You mean the
for
food that
their
got
profit.
vaccinated?
Yeah,
Him
the food that
has
No, the
never-
food that got
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And they get
vaccinated.
vaccinated too.
Right.
Absolutely.
The
Right.
food's vaccinated. They even put vaccines inside of like okay, I just recently learned this. Like when you go to McDonald's and or Burger King or Carl's Jr. and they're literally putting injections inside of flavor enhancers inside of like the lettuce, the tomatoes, the pickles, and it literally makes you addicted. And
Oh, yeah.
so you're
What was that?
craving all that stuff. So
What was
it's
that
everywhere,
thing, that
man. It's
documentary?
everywhere.
Oh, Super Size Me, that documentary from a few years back. The guy that started doing like that was what he did. Every time he pulled up at the drive-thru, he said, "Yeah, Super Size Me," and he got not just super overweight, incredibly unhealthy to the point of death. So he did research and found out
That's
exactly
very
what you're
much what we need.
saying about the stuff they put in it, so that the scent makes you go, I want that, even though your
Yep.
body knows I don't need that in me. Your brain overrides that and like, oh, that smells good. And then the taste, the shit they've injected that triggers all those addiction centers and makes you want it again and again, even though your body is fucking going, hey, I'm dying here. It overrides
Yep.
all of
Exactly.
that. Mhm.
Yep. Yeah. Then, so literally, they're injecting everything with whatever it is that they can find. I guess I don't know. It's
Nanotechnology.
nanotech, and like it's crazy.
Yeah, another big, huge, I mean, it's another topic, I guess, but that has been big on our journey is plant medicine, such as ayahuasca.
Yeah.
Ayahuasca has played a huge, do you know what ayahuasca is?
Oh yeah.
Not
Had a chance to endeavor, but I'm well aware of it and its amazing properties. The guy who we are that we do like TFR, where we do our radio show, the guy over there has a product that he has out that combines some ayahuasca and some CBD. And yeah, I haven't tried it, but I know it's out there.
Right. Yeah, it's a psychedelic brew from Peru that combines the ayahuasca vine from the ayahuasca tree, which is it's a MAOI inhibitor, because whenever the other plant that's combined is usually chacruna, but it has a DMT. It has DMT in it. But our vessel, usually when we consume DMT, the MAOIs won't allow it to, perform in our vessel. But the ayahuasca, the MAOI inhibitor, allows it. It stops the MAOI from, stopping the DMT. And you end up it's usually served in a ceremonial setting. We go to one in Tucson. We went to one in Tucson several times in the middle of the desert. It's amazing. And so DMT is released in your vessel, 3 different times naturally, when you're born, when you die, and when you dream. And so your body kind of thinks it's asleep. So you're kind of in your subconscious mind.
It's very odd.
But it also has a bunch of, it's a super anti-inflammatory. It heals your brain.
Right.
But
That's what Chris and them talk about with their.
Absolutely
I don't know the
incredible.
product. I'm going to look it up.
It's Iolife. Iolife.com. I put it in the chat for Christ's sake.
Rock, Josh.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Also,
iolife.com.
I'm so disgusted that I know that off the top of my head. I'm so disgusted.
Psilocybin is also really, really great medicine for, as a matter of fact, they just decriminalized it in Oregon. So psilocybin is really, really good also at it rewires the brain.
Tickets to Oregon? Sorry.
What's that?
I just was making a note.
Oh, yeah.
Tickets to Oregon.
Yeah.
They just recently outlawed it for this year. I don't know when it goes into effect, but I did read that it is now legal.
So,
and there are setting dispensaries up for it. So
there are, we can call it third or fourth hand information. I know a person who has spoken to a guy that owns a shop, and this shop owner has spoken to attorneys, plural, and law enforcement officers, plural, and none of them can find anything in any sort of Missouri code as to why psilocybin would be illegal, why he couldn't just sell mushrooms.
Interesting.
You can walk.
That's very interesting.
Maybe not the average person. I don't think it's advertised on billboards, but you can go in there and get anything from a fucking half ounce of caps and stems to fancy fucking chocolate bars, and you can just go and do your thing and just get it right over the counter.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Super awesome.
That's really good because it really is. Well, okay. There's a big reason why that stuff like cannabis has always had a big a drawback on it. Psilocybin, ayahuasca, even we just recently found out. I don't know if you Ian know this, Walter. You probably do, but I mean, I'm not sure. We haven't talked about it, but we just recently found out that kratom is anti-cancer. It fights off cancer, and I'm like, no wonder they want it to be illegal.
Well, no shit.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the mitragynine has anti-carcinogenic.
Yeah, so I love kratom, man. Well, I take it.
I took it before the show.
Yep,
us too.
Yep, it really helps. Really does. And because again,
we have a great friend there in chat. He was there earlier, James, from a company called Grounded Extracts. He and his wife Naj and their family, amazing. I think I sent you guys the link to that show, perhaps. If I didn't, I will. But yeah, the products he has there, the Kratom Plus with the frankincense and myrrh, is a daily thing for me. It's amazing stuff. So I'll give you the link here in a minute.
Absolutely.
Nice, heck yeah.
Definitely. You want
One sec, I have a question. I see some people talking that aren't at the top. Like Josh, he isn't at the top.
He is. We just have to move it over.
Yeah, Josh is.
But he's the Iron Rim Media symbol up there.
Well,
And Zack is the
There he is.
That's Josh.
the little fishing guy, and I'm the globe fake dome.
Yeah, that's one.
It's like this. How about this? For all the fisher people out there, here's this info. Imagine you chilling on your home, having a nice day, and then a hook comes down with your favorite food on it. You bite it off the hook, and then something impales right up here. I don't want to say it because I don't want it to get too graphic. And then you get yanked up very aggressively, I may add, and then put in a bucket for later. How would you feel?
Like I just paid taxes.
That would be good if you legitimately just got stabbed at the top of the mouth with a hook.
There's something I want to say too.
Go ahead.
Surely.
It's kind of unrelated, but like it's on the topic of like veganism. So like people say that vegans are missing out on like stuff when you can literally just make everything vegan and it would taste the same, if not better.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like steak. Man, marinate some portobello mushrooms, throw that in the oven for a while. Oh, that is so
And
good.
you know what?
You can even make
People
burgers out of it.
people will give the excuse that they like the taste of meat. Well, if you go to the store and grab a pack of meat and rip it open and just take a bite out of the raw meat, you're not gonna like that. You just like the seasoning you put on top of it.
Yep. Well, I wanted to
Man,
touch.
copy what this dude said.
I want to touch on some with what Myles was talking about with the fish. New studies are coming out that are showing that fish actually mate for life. They have the same mate for life, and they recognize each other in the water. And so, I mean, just think about that for a second. Like, if these animals are intelligent enough to recognize each other and mate for life, then let's say you go fishing, right, Myles? You go fishing, you pull a fish out the water, and now there's another fish constantly looking for its mate, and that actually disrupts the ecosystem because that fish, the fish that's missing its mate, doesn't go and find a new mate. They've proven this. So not only are you removing the fish from the water, but because you've taken that fish's mate away, it's not going to reproduce anymore. So that further degrades the ecosystem and really, cuts down on how many, fish are in the water and stuff. So this was a recent study we had
this is new to me. I hadn't
And
heard
that
that.
fish that doesn't have its mate is probably going to be sad about that.
Yeah.
well,
The thoughts that keep vegans up at night: fish
Yeah.
without their mates.
yeah.
FYI, for everyone in the chat, don't get worried. I will never fish a single fish in my life.
Good to
I will
know, my
never
friend.
fish in my life. Don't get worried about the local lake. Okay, you will not see an 8-year-old with a 9-year-old.
Yeah,
A
you're
9-year-old
freshly
with a
9.
with a fishing rod going into a lake and catching a fish. You will
You might
not
see some,
that.
just not you.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Because literally, look at my shirt. This shirt is a vegan shirt. It's a I don't eat my homie shirt with a cow.
Yeah, his
a
uncle got
pig,
this for him
and
for
a
his
chicken.
birthday.
yeah, Fro bought that for him for his birthday.
Yeah, I got this for my birthday, which was the 20th.
But
Yep.
I might have to get y'all to catch me up with old Pro after we get off here.
yeah, for sure.
Damn it, I had a question about something. What was sad? It's gone. It'll come back, I'm sure.
So let's see.
It went away.
You have anything, Dave?
Real quick, while we're kind of in this minutes of thinking things through, I want to give a shout out to there in chat. I got a message today showing you had added yourself there to our Patreon group. We appreciate that immensely, friend. Thank you so very much. I also see another huge supporter of our show, Daryl Davis from Flattery Farms, there in chat. Thank you, brother. Love you immensely. Appreciate all the great work you do as well.
Nice, wonderful.
And I'm still trying to get that link up for you guys. I got too many tabs open, as I often do during the show, so I'm trying to close a few off. But I'm going to grab.
So I want to
Go
talk
right
a
ahead.
little bit more, if that's okay.
Yeah, go right ahead, my friend. Please do.
Yeah. Another thing about veganism, if it like a blender. Let's say the world was spinning really quickly. I know this isn't really about veganism. But
It's okay. It doesn't have to be about.
If the world was spinning really quickly and you got a blender in 2 seconds, the whole room would be like red. Let's say you were juicing strawberries. Let's say you were making a nice strawberry smoothie. The whole room would be red in 2
Put
seconds.
the cap on the blender, turn it on, the room just.
Oh, because the spinning would splatter it everywhere.
No, the spinning would launch off the top and get it everywhere.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, in 2 seconds, the room would be red, and you.
Yeah, that's true.
You will be red.
Bro, okay, the world's spinning, you go into the shower, like the freaking water's running up.
Doesn't it happen in Australia where they're upside down, right?
Yeah.
They're upside down in
Apparently.
Australia, right?
Yeah, Australia's upside down, right?
On the ball.
Does Australia even exist? I don't know. I've never been there.
I'm pretty
Now,
sure
come on.
Canada is the one that's upside down.
Come on.
No, it's Australia.
There was actually a story this week we talked about on the morning show that came out of all of us flat earthers, how we constantly talk about the fact that Australia isn't real and they're all actors. And, we talk about that all the time here on our show. I have never, ever heard anybody that I talk to mention that in any other way than, have you heard this idiot fuckery? Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Have you heard this silly stuff? It's just ridiculous. It's beyond ridiculous.
Some of the first flat earthers I ever spoke with one-on-one was at least one Australian I know of for sure.
He was one of the founding members of Iron Realm Media. Rob.
Interesting. Where is he at? Wasn't he on the show last time I was on?
He might have been.
He was.
He might very well have been.
He's around.
He's around. He comes and hangs out in chats, and he said he's going to get on with us. The thing that mostly makes it difficult is the time frame. It was a struggle when we were a group that did it on a weekly basis. They're Saturday, time traveling, future fuckers, and we're back here on Friday. It makes it difficult at times. But yeah, we've been talking about trying to get a little reunion with all the old team. And there's even some older team members that we haven't spoken to in a huge amount of time. Hacksaw and Mr. Springfield, and quite a few people. So
I know Hacksaw's still around. I spoke to Hacksaw for quite a long time.
You tell me you just spoke to him not long ago.
We had like a 3-hour conversation on the phone a couple months ago.
Hey, Daryl, drop Flat Earth Farms in the chat for me. I can't find the damn channel. I thought I had it like where it would just pop right up, but of course they've changed that now, and when I type it doesn't just pop right up anymore. Your channel, I mean, when you get a second. Thank you, sir. I've dropped the grounded extracts link there for you guys in the chats as well, and peruse. I can highly recommend what I've taken personally, the Kratom Plus and the Best Earth. And the people I've spoken to who have tried some of the other products have praised them immensely. I'm really excited about the new mushroom that our buddy Zombie Smith was talking about the other day on the show. And then we talked to James about it. So hopefully I'll be trying that soon. What's the name of it? I'll say it wrong. The mushroom. No? Nobody? Josh?
Shilajit.
Shilajit.
Something like that. Something to that effect.
Is this a psycho?
No, it's not. One? It's a healthy one. It's
okay.
It's
just
about
so
what it does for your
boring.
You know what's really good is turkey tail mushrooms.
Uh-huh.
Oh, nice.
Turkey tails really they fight off cancer, stuff like that. So yeah, there's a bunch of good. Pretty much all mushrooms are that are edible are really good. Regular mushrooms like like white mushrooms or portobello mushrooms, they're full of like vitamin D and vitamin I think is E and stuff. So pretty much everything the body needs we can get from plants. And that's pretty much our message is we don't have to take the life of another being to sustain ourselves, and that's really especially because they bleed the same way we do, they procreate the same way we do given the opportunity when they're not being artificially procreated and stuff. So it's crazy that all of the what's so-called food is detrimental to us, but and then
surprise
running.
Kitty Cam, that's what's up. You guys just made 1,000 million fans right there now. Kitty Cam.
This is running off a lot.
Oh, I love that. What a beautiful cat. Oh man, my cat is looking at her. That's great. She's freaking out. Yeah, look, she's up there checking y'all out.
It's a cat moment.
It is.
I got one more veganism thing to say, and then I'm gonna say some other stuff that isn't about veganism, since most of the stuff I've been talking about is about veganism. Basically, my bad if this insults any of our visitors in this live stream that are non-vegan and it hurts their feelings. My apologies. So basically, let's say you see a bird and you're not doing somebody else's work, your little furry friend's work. It's the cat's job. It's basically the cat's job, not yours. You're not stealing the cat's job just to lose a life of an innocent animal. Honestly, if it was a choice, I wish the cat wouldn't even do it. I honestly wish.
Well, you bring that up, Myles, and that's something a lot of people use that in their defense or their argument about, oh, well, we're animals, and the animal kingdom, they eat each other, so we should be doing it too. Well, what, you going to eat on your buddy Joe down the road when he gets a little down on his luck and sick? So, if you're going to go that way, you got to know the extremes. And yeah, we're not animals. We're humans. That's what we are. We're not animals.
If they
we have a higher intelligence.
If they are hunting its prey, just leave it alone. Just leave the animal alone. Leave any animal that you see alone. Don't kill it. Don't do anything harmful to the animal.
I agree. I agree 100%.
I'd recommend don't do anything harmful to animals. Okay?
Dude, I'm right there with you. That's been one of my things throughout my whole life is when I see other people be cruel to animals in an offhand way, like it just doesn't matter. It just destroys my soul. It hurts me inside. My empathy is just too great for it. Some of the most terrifying memories I have are some of the horrible treatments that some of the people I like that were like either step relatives of mine or friends in the neighborhood that would just do to animals, and I couldn't understand number one, what's the appeal? What are you getting from it? You're fucking hurting the animal, number one, but what is it making? Like, why is it something you're enjoying? Of course, I didn't understand sociopaths and psychopaths and lunatics at that point. Wonder where those people are now. I really do. Anyway.
Oh, wait. Wonder whose feeling I accidentally hurt.
Uh-oh.
Maybe. Possibly. I doubt it.
I don't think you did. Oh, I just got a correction there in the chat. Shajilat is not mushroom. It is a mountain resin. I knew that in my head. Just talked about it too quick. So I will hopefully find out about it. Shajilat, to quit. Okay.
You guys have anything else to say, or you guys can go?
I have something else to say. So, when people say like, oh, we're animals and animals, that argument is like, it doesn't fully match up because some animals are herbivores. And,
Yep.
And there's that argument again of, our bodies and what it's designed for, having sets of teeth that seem to imply both carnivorous and omnivorous, herbivorous, whatever, ability. I don't know. I don't know about that one either, because
Want to say bye?
Our bodies work fine.
My bad. We didn't know we were unmuted.
That's fine.
Bye.
Y'all head out. All right, guys.
No, me and Catalyst are staying.
The kids. That's fine. I'm sorry. My God, the young, gentle people.
No, it's really not that big of a deal.
But it is. You try to change, and we just talked about it, and here I go right back.
Yeah,
well, we have a habit of doing it for each other.
Yeah,
that's one reason why we've been able to, is because I hold him accountable, and he holds me accountable. And it's almost habit now.
Yeah, it's like, whoa, what did you just say? What? It's like, oh, my bad. You're not who I think you are. Okay.
And I do. I do just play devil's advocate. You will very rarely hear me say good morning. You'll never see me type good morning in the chat. It's the Outlux, it's Grand Rising, it's all sorts of things, but it's
I
not
would-
That's
good
what we
morning.
say too.
That's what I
Grand
said.
Rising.
But-
Yep.
On the other hand, I was thinking about this the other day because mourning has that poor connotation, and I really get it. I've had to deal with some mourning recently, having lost a family pet. And if you're going to go through mourning, which is inevitable, as a human being, mourning is a human experience we
Oh,
all
yeah.
will have. How would you want someone to have it? Bad or good?
Right.
You're going to mourn. You might as well have some good mourning as opposed
Yep.
to bad
That's
mourning.
true.
Yep.
So if I have to
Yep.
wish morning on anyone, I'd rather wish them good morning than anything else.
Yep.
Good point.
Absolutely.
That's an excellent point.
I love it. That's great. And then it's
That's
all
nice.
with the wordplay. You know, everything that's been handed to us has been purposefully done so in such a way to where most people can't even think of the questions or the topics that we're talking about here. And it's really sad because it's so beautiful on the other side of that. And so many people are stuck on the side where it's not beautiful and it's not, all they see is, damage and destruction and not the good morning, but the bad morning. And it's,
That's a
and
choice.
yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
It really is. And, but
Hey, something that's a powerful tool to get to the other side of that is like affirmations. Affirmations are so powerful. And even if you don't believe them, like I could sit here, I remember beginning to say like, I am love, and just feeling so stupid. Like, I am love, that's retarded. But it was like, I knew it was true, but I couldn't connect to it. But if we say stuff like that, like I am love, or change our words to grand rising instead of good morning, and it just changes like our focus.
and it literally, when we start doing that stuff, when we start changing what we've been doing our whole life, it literally creates new neurological pathways
Yep.
in the brain, which weren't we told that doesn't happen once you reach a certain age? But that's not true. That's a lie. That's just, oh, well, I'm already whatever age, don't matter for me. And like, no, that's being you want to stay ill-informed and unread. Like,
A little bit.
Right.
what's the point?
A little bit. Again, something I was thinking about the other day. Growing up, my dad had retired relatively young and moved out to his childhood, not his home, but where he was raised, basically out in the woods, out in the middle of Missouri. And that's where he had basically been as I grew up. And he was so far removed from all of the pre-internet, of course. So even out there, the styles, everything was like 15 years behind St. Louis. I mean, just that far out. So even then, he was in the woods and didn't even have real contact with the town folk, and let alone city folk, and
Right.
just having no real frame of reference and way to really communicate with him because he was so far removed from all of the things I was experiencing. He just had no frame of reference, no way to deal with it, no way to talk about it, no way to communicate about it or with it. And now, as I have a son who's 22 and is going out and doing things and experiencing things that I don't have any clues about, and I see society going in directions, and even the news, commercials, television, on the rare chance I might watch like television or see, it was like a glimpse of the Weather Channel, and it was just two random weather people. And I was just felt gross having seen just these fake ass people on TV, and I just want to turn it off. No, I don't fucking care about the weather. I will experience the weather when it fucking hits me. That's all I need to know.
Right.
I would rather stay ignorant about your fucking forecasts and about the weird stuff that goes on in society and the way that everybody else is carrying on their lives. I don't care. I will stay blissfully ignorant and not want to know whatever truth it is they're trying to live at this particular stage in their life.
Right, exactly. Well, it's like going out into public, or like you said, turning on the TV. Anything we do is literally like there's pornography everywhere, like literal pornography everywhere. And it used to be you had to search for that.
Yeah, now it's just all up in our
Now
faces.
you can't get away from it.
You can't even go to Walmart these days and walk around Walmart without being bombarded with pornographic images and just disgusting, degenerate stuff. Like it's like, okay, isn't this what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah? Like, come on, people, we ain't tired of this yet. Come on, man. You know?
Right. My parents would fast forward through the titty flashes on the PG-13 movies. Now I've got to fast forward rape scenes and just all kinds of weird stuff that children probably shouldn't be watching.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that was it.
And a lot of it's in shows for children, like are about children, like the disgusting shows about the teenagers and they're actually adults, I guess, playing the teenagers. But as you're watching this, what's happening in your subconscious mind as children, it's like behavior they're going to emulate. Such as shows like I'm talking about, like Euphoria, or, you guys know, you live here.
Yeah.
And, and what does it do to the adult brains who are looking at these, teenagers and there's sexual activity and stuff? Like it's insane.
Yep.
A lot of pedophilic stuff being pushed.
Yep. And now they're trying to like make it sound like if you're saying, oh well, you're why are you grooming those children? Well, that's considered hate speech these days. Calling someone you're clearly grooming those children, but come on, man. Like, let's be real.
That's like a contempt of judge or a contempt of court or a contempt of cop. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, is it hate speech? Yeah. Does it sound like I hate you when I call you a groomer? Guess what? I do.
Exactly.
Right. But it's not necessarily against any group of people other than the group of groomers.
That's right. And we here at Iron Real Media don't condone violence against any group of people for any particular reason whatsoever.
Right.
I won't even hurt an animal.
Yeah, we find cockroaches. If we find a cockroach, we're going to bring it outside.
Yeah, I don't kill anything.
Fruit flies are the exception. There's always an exception. Fruit flies
there is
be
an
the exception.
Mosquitoes.
Yeah.
I will smack the crap out of a mosquito, man.
How often do they say, hey, we're releasing GMO mosquitoes out? I don't think mosquitoes were made by the creator.
Yeah, I don't know. Mosquito lands on me for my blood, he's going to get smacked.
Yeah.
So
they were a pestilence released during the plagues.
Yep.
And still being released. They just released like 250,000 of them.
Or they came from outside our world and were sent here by a species that was trying to suck us dry. No.
Apologize. We kind of got a little distracted there. What was that, Walt?
I was just being silly. I said, yeah, either that or they came from the outer lands and were sent here to suck us all dry.
Yes. Yes. Who knows?
Well, it's interesting that
DNA.
You're not allowed to take food or have birds. Like you can't have a pet bird. I see some talk about a parrot there in chat. Oh my God, Sherry, Lord. Anyway, so yeah, if you're on an Antarctica cruise, you can't have food on the deck, and birds aren't allowed to be on that cruise with you or brought up on the deck.
Nope. If they see them in the sky, they shoot them out right there immediately.
Interesting that that's just interesting to me that there's this potential area where we can't pass or not supposed to go past. We're not allowed to carry our GMO tainted food over there that might get picked up by a bird and carried over to another land and fuck their good stuff up. Anyway.
Yeah, well, I mean, shoot, GMOs are like, I'm sure everyone's pretty much heard about the documentary GMO OMG.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good one about GMOs and stuff, and like how like not good. Like, and then there's sometimes when I'm sitting there and I'm like, can they even do that? Is that even real? Like,
Well, interesting that they changed it recently to now bioengineered.
Yeah, now it's
is a thing. Now they're calling it
bioengineered.
bioengineered,
So,
which sounds way more ominous.
yeah.
I thought CRISPR
Big deal.
technology just kept my lettuce crispy in the fucking fridge. What do I do?
Yeah.
Good old nanotechnology.
Yeah. Well, yeah, nanotech is man, not good. Like there's this. Yeah, it just goes. It takes something and turns into something it's not, and then it's not even good for you, and then it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, I was letting somebody know. I think it was my boss just the other day about Hitachi and their little product called Smart Dust, and its GPS tracking ability. And it's just because it's so small, it's literally the size of like a grain of sand, and they could just blanket an entire surface with it and just map out all the area with this Smart Dust that Hitachi patented back in 90s,
like
maybe
graphene
the
oxide.
2000s,
Yeah.
but I think the 90s.
Yeah, it sounds like you know what graphene oxide is, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
Graphene oxide. And it's crazy. Graphene oxide. If you get it in your body, you lose your taste and you lose your sense of smell, and it has flu-like symptoms. That's funny.
Huh.
Interesting.
Sounds like something I've heard of before.
Yeah, sounds like something I've heard of before. Starts with a C or something. I don't know.
And it was a 9.
Myles.
But yeah, so and all of the test strips had graphene oxide on
Oh, yeah,
them.
the
So
test,
that's
yeah.
interesting. But hey, what do I know? Just a conspiracy theorist, right? So I have a question for you, Josh.
Uh-oh. I wasn't there, and you can't prove that I was.
He has an alibi.
What's your thoughts on veganism and stuff?
I don't have really any strong thoughts one way or the other. For me, it's a little bit like the video that Walt showed this morning. I think Walt showing the video this morning is a great correlation to how I feel about veganism. We were talking about LED lights and how easy it is you could trick somebody with an LED light. And Walt shared a video of a magician with an LED light. He would take it and put it in one hand, and he'd put it in his ear, pull it out his mouth, stick it up his nose, do all sorts of shit, put with it, and it was gone. Poof, it's magic. And then Walt stops it right before you find out how the trick is done. Because he doesn't want to spoil it. He doesn't want to spoil it for the people that don't know how the trick is done. Don't want to bore the people that do know how the trick is done. I mean, I get it. And that's kind of where I am with this. It's I don't think I'm a good enough gardener that I would be able to grow enough food to feed my family and myself summer, winter, spring, fall, 4 seasons. I couldn't do it. I wouldn't be able to produce enough to do it, or I wouldn't be able to produce enough and be able to know how to store it, find the place, find the canisters, and find the way to store it all that would be able to then last me through to get to next spring and where I can plant my next one. I don't know that I would be able to, as a man in 2023, have the knowledge, the wherewithal, or even the stuff around me to be able to do it. Let alone have the right space, the right ground, the right temperature to do the things that I would need to do. And we get into food forests and locally grown things, and there's lots of other ways you could work around that if you've got 30, 40 years to get one really good and situated. If you're 20, do it now. If you're almost 50 like me, good fucking
Right.
luck, it's going to cost you
And-
another. It's going to cost
and
you
for most,
$500,000
money is an
anyway.
issue as well.
Yeah, it's
Well,
a
yeah, they
$500,000.
make it hard to fuck as hell to get in started and going
Yeah.
and all that.
So I see what you're saying, because I don't necessarily feel like I have those skills either at this moment, which hopefully will change soon. But I see exactly what you're saying.
I've been hungry. I've been like hungry to the point of, so do I need to steal food? Where is my next fucking meal coming from? How am I going to feed myself and my son? Like, I've been fucking hungry.
Yeah.
And if it comes down to having to sacrifice an animal and give thanks to that animal and pay proper respects for the sacrifice that animal made to enable to perpetuate the life of my son and myself, I'll do it.
How are you going to keep that animal alive long enough if you can't grow the necessary foods to feed that animal? Because all the foods that you're talking about that you can't grow.
Well, I'm not talking about
yourself,
like farming animals. I'm just talking hunting animals. Just the plain taking the life.
Like deer and stuff.
Farming is a whole, because it's going to
Here's a
require me
really-
to kill the farm animal at some point. Whether it's a egg chicken, I got to kill it at some point. So it's going to come down to me having to take the life of the animal. So whether I'm doing it now or I'd have to be under extreme duress to do it myself.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, what if I said, well, how about instead of killing the deer, watch what the deer eats and then eat that?
Yeah.
Because what the deer can eat, we can eat too. Might not like it as much as you would if you had, like, say, a tomato or whatever.
Or the
but
deer.
It would definitely sustain you.
Right. I could choose to eat
Well, no,
acorns.
I mean, we can't.
I can
there's a
eat
lot of
acorns
plants
or I
that-
can eat the deer. I can eat tree bark and see how long that sustains me through the winter time. Or I can eat the deer, who I see he's eating tree bark, and this tree bark's not going to be very tasty. But under duress, I can shoot, skin, clean that deer, and do it bawling my eyes out the whole fucking time.
All right.
But I'll do it.
Well, see, okay, all right.
Because
well,
it's going to come to a point that I starve or I eat deer, or I eat meat, or I eat grass, I eat tree bark. I have been hungry. I have been in this situation, and I foresee a situation in the not too distant future where people will have to choose. You eat whatever the fuck you can. And the idea of veganism just sort of comes down to you've got the ability to be a vegan. If you have to walk on glass, you will put leather on your feet to walk on glass rather than do it barefoot. If you, oh shit, there's leather on the ground, I'll pick it up because I don't want to walk on glass. I will use leather to protect my feet.
Right.
Because under
I wouldn't
duress,
necessarily, but
I think maybe not. Maybe the first couple of times you wouldn't. I bet you eventually you would. Just a guess.
I would walk around it.
Right, exactly.
I see what you're saying, but here's the thing: we live in a society where we don't have to do that right now. Like,
That's
I'm not
right.
saying there won't be
That's
some
right.
type of societal breakdown where we'll have to grow our own food, but I think, honestly, what's about to happen, whatever changes are about to happen, is going to be for the better. And I think it's going to be not only the better, because we've already been doing the dumb stuff for the past
forever.
Like forever. I mean, as far as I know, 36 years. So I mean, like, we all know history. It's
his story.
Yeah. So, but I think it's going to get, honestly, it's not going to get bad. Like a lot of people say, everyone's always like, oh, the New World Order's coming. The New World Order's been here. It's all over the money. Nova Ordo Sodorum means New World Order. So it's all over the money. So we're already in a New World Order. We're trying to get rid of that. And I think whatever big event that's going to happen, because the water's boiling right now, and what's going to happen whenever it gets to a full boil, I don't know. But I do feel
It's
that
going to melt the chocolate. Side note, keep going. That was a chat.
Okay. I really do think that where we're headed is going to be more of it's not going to be like it's been, and I don't think there'll be the need to like worry where our next meal is going to come from. You know what I mean? I just really feel that we're moving in a direction where we're going to get away from all the scarcity, because scarcity is not real. It's
a lie.
It's a lie. There's, so I really do feel that we're going to get to a
Anything
point.
they can do to keep us scared is part of it. And that idea of lack, and the idea of overpopulation and crowding us all into these disease-centered cities. Fuck, I can't even talk. Yeah, it's all designed. It's all part of it.
There's a thing that we say sometimes, like, it's like the only way I would drink milk from a cow is if the cow walked up to me and said, hey, Damascus, I got some delicious milk. My baby can't use it. Do you want it? It's really good. I'm giving it to you. Oh, thanks. I would probably drink that, because it was, but no cow's gonna do that. And the way milk is taken from the cows is just horrific. But and I, like I said again, I see where you're coming from. But
do you think if a cow had the language abilities to say, holy shit, my udders are so fucking full, I need some relief, can one of you motherfuckers just give it a tug? Come on, just give it a little tug, just a little one, come on, please. I mean, I'm sure the cow would, because that's how they get. Those udders get real full if there's not a calf there to keep them drained. So they need that relief. And I'm sure if they had the ability to communicate that when they were that way, you would be surprised how much cow milk you were offered.
Right. Although just like humans, the milk will dry up, and it will, the only reason why dairy cows have that much milk is they're pumped full of hormones and stuff.
Right.
And their, breast milk in cows, just like in humans, is by demand, supply. If you demand, the more you demand, the more your body's going to make. So as the baby cow weans itself off, it would just stop making it naturally. Yeah.
In a perfect world.
Yeah. Well,
this world is supposed to be perfect. It's just currently fallen.
It just got taken over and ruined by some little evil fucks, but we're going to get it back.
Right. It's like we turned from God and decided to have, our little painful illusion. Like the Course in Miracles talks about, we're asleep and we're having a nightmare. And, it, as we forgive ourselves and our brothers, it turns from a nightmare into a happy dream. Yep. And then eventually the happy will wake up even from that into reality.
Yep. I agree. Yeah. So what about, one second.
Oh, the joys of parenthood.
Now they're part of the Iron Realm family. Oh, I love it. Well, while we're having a moment, huh?
So this has been awesome.
Dude, amazingly awesome.
So yeah, this is very, I love this type of stuff. So
it's refreshing.
Yeah, very refreshing.
How about this, guys? We're at like 3.5 hours, believe it or not. Like I had no clue. No, I didn't even have exactly. I had no clue.
No way.
Yeah. And we rarely try to do that anymore. I mean, we used to run 4 and 5, but we try to keep it around 2, tops at 3, and then that saves some energy and we don't all pass out. The cats are underfoot, they are hungry, and I'm sure other people are. So why don't we stop now? You could, like, if the boys are still around, bring them back and tell them to let us thank them for being here as well. And make this a little more frequent than every 4 years thing, maybe.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Absolutely.
That'd be nice.
All right, well, that's cool. And then the morning show is always an open door as well. I don't know exactly the schedule for you guys and the time frame, all that, but 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. Central on Tuesday and Friday mornings. We also do the radio thing. So if you guys want to come over there and hang out, it's pretty much the same crew, but
commercial breaks.
It's commercial breaks. Yeah, a little more strict on that. But other than that, it's still fun and different time of day. So
I'm getting wound up rather than winding down.
right, it's a whole. It's usually a different vibe, little different vibe.
More coffee involved.
more coffee, more jittery. But yeah, so
I
we'll make that
want
happen.
to. I want to end it. I want to
Absolutely.
start with a little something. I implore everyone who's listening to this right now or might listen to it in the future, and of course the great host that we have had here today. I really try a vegan diet. Well, no, don't. It's not. See, I messed up. Try a plant-based diet. 30-day plant-based challenge. I really think everyone would benefit from that, and even if you don't decide to stay on a plant-based diet, at least for that month, how many animals were not slaughtered because you weren't going to the store to buy meat? And also on top of that, add a couple of meatless days in your weekly dinner plans. Like that's a great start, and it really will. You'll see some definite changes by trying to do that, and I really think everyone would greatly benefit from that, specifically the animals, but the consumers as well. And I just think it really is a great way of life. And I've went from not healthy to healthy, and no exercise. I lost all the weight, no exercise. So it really is all about diet. It really is.
It really is. And we did it eating a ton of carbs.
Yep.
Carbs
are great.
Our first 6 months of veganism, noodles every day.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a transition, I'm sure. Well, do you guys have a place you go get recipes, or is there just kind of a play it by ear kind of thing?
I make it up mainly.
That's what I'm saying. If you have some ideas that you want to throw our way, like type them up or put them on in a way to share them with everybody. Because man, that's a lot of it. There's so much trial and error trying to figure out something totally foreign to the normal way we cook and do things. And so yeah, having a little guidance would be beneficial.
Absolutely.
And if you feel in advance, you can do like only eat meat once every 2 weeks. You can do it advanced, like you can like only eat meat once for 2 weeks. You can be advanced if you want.
Yep. And what a great month to start, because I don't know if everyone knows, but January has been dubbed Veganuary. So like it's like a 30-day vegan challenge type thing with the month of January and stuff like that. So really good month to start. They always have new vegan foods coming out, and it's just getting real good. So but
time to be vegan.
Yep,
and maybe if you get confident enough, in a couple years you can actually go to a vegan lifestyle. Maybe.
Right.
Who knows? Yeah. We're all on our journey.
Yep,
Myles, thank you so much for sharing, sir. You've been just a refreshing breath of fresh air. Thank you so much for sharing your energy and your love with us.
Yes, absolutely, no problem. Thank you for support, for making us even in a live stream. Thank you for planning all the names and stuff. Thank you for planning all that.
No problem.
Just thank you, bro. Just thanks.
No, brother. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm sorry I misspelled your name, Myles. I was kind of in a hurry, just trying to do it on the fly, and it looks like I misspelled it right there on the screen. This whole time was with an I instead
I didn't
of a
even
Y.
notice, or I would have said something.
I am so sorry, Myles.
It just means he's miles ahead of the rest of us.
And Kyler, I want to thank Kyler for hopping in chat and spending time in chat too.
Yes,
Kyler, thank you so
great
much.
having you in chat. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, this child right here, this amazing being is, both of them are just, they blow me out of the, like, they like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they teach us as much as we teach them.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're actually really smart.
Oh, there is no doubt
No doubt about that, my friend.
I can make myself look like I have buck teeth.
Catalyst, Damascus, thank you guys for sharing your
Thank
love
you.
and your life with us. It's been beautiful. Everybody in chat has just, as you probably have been reading there, have been having a blast. It's been quite a conversation that it's gotten started. And, I love you guys. Thank you for coming and hang out with us. You got
Awesome.
my
Thanks for
number.
having us. It was awesome.
Let's do some stuff away from the show, hang out, do some games,
Definitely.
whatever.
Heck yeah.
Recipes. I got to figure this thing out myself. I'm clueless, just like the rest of us. So
Absolutely, definitely. We'll definitely talk about it.
all right.
We're not 100% there either, but
Hey, we all have to try. Okay,
Yep.
buddy, I'm coming. Boy, the cats are wanting their vegetarian right now. They're actually eating. I think most of it is it sweet potato? I think it's the main ingredient in the one I've got for them right now. There's some salmon in it too, but I think the main ingredient is sweet potato.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think we should be if an animal anyway, but
all right, now it was a whole new show. All right, y'all.
Thank you.
I've got the heart. I've got
everyone,
the
thank you
spirit.
so much.
No, thank
I've
you.
seen in the chat.
Everybody in chat, love y'all. Thank y'all so much. The
Be with you.
tips and
Well, I think Josh was about to say
I
something.
was going to say, I've got
Go
the
ahead.
heart and the spirit. There are times when meat does not sound appealing. It does not smell appealing. It does not taste appealing.
I
And
fucking
I
hate
would
it.
eat veggies and fruit all day long. I eat on average maybe 25, 30 pieces of fruit a week on average, about 4 or 5
Nice.
pieces of
Good.
fruit every single day, bare minimum. But I've got the heart and the spirit. I don't have that brain and the gut and the taste bud connection. Like the idea of an all plant diet bores me as much as the idea of an all meat diet. Like I can't do just all of one or all of the other. Like I've tried to do like a big increase, maybe once or twice a week, maybe eat meat, but really lean a lot heavier towards the vegetables. And my taste buds and my brain just get so bored with what I'm putting into my body that it's like nothing can satisfy. It's like I eat it like, great. It's more fucking zucchini, great, and more tomatoes, yay. I mean, I can do this all of
You
night,
gotta
but
prepare it. It's all in the preparation.
yeah, I don't think it is.
I'll say one more thing. I'm gonna say one more thing before we end it. Couple of years ago, we had her cousin came and visit us, and we had made some enchiladas, vegan enchiladas, and her cousin's like Hispanic and stuff, so she makes like authentic Mexican food all the time and stuff. And we had made some enchiladas, and we fed. She had her granddaughter with her, and they were eating the food, and her cousin looks at her granddaughter and says, "Hey, did you know that's vegan?" They couldn't even tell. They didn't even know. She thought we were lying to her when we said it was vegan. Yeah. So you there's ways to cook plants that mimic what we like. Because I mean, I used to eat burgers and chicken all the time. And there's ways to do that with plants, and you don't have to miss out on nothing. We eat pizza, enchiladas, lasagna, spaghetti.
Yeah, but even the idea of dressing up a burger to taste like a salad is about appealing as dressing up a salad to taste like a burger. Again, it's I mean, maybe you can, but is that
a portobello mushroom? Ooh, so good.
It's like switching from when I switched from
amazing
cigarettes to
hamburger.
vaping. Vaping was never quite as satisfying as the cigarettes because it wasn't all about the nicotine in my addiction. Because of the 300 and some other god-awful chemicals that they were putting into the pre-rolled cigarettes, that's what else my body was missing out on. So even when I vape, it wasn't as satisfying as if I smoked. And I think I get
And
the
the
same of the lot.
ritual.
And the ritual, that's right. There's so
the
many other
habitual.
things.
Absolutely.
Yep. And I think that there's a lot of in my brain that's what I'm missing out on too. If I were to go to an all plant or a carnivorous diet, was the Liver King or whatever that roid head guy was.
The lack of variety.
Right. It was and not even necessarily the lack of variety, because you can dress it up to taste like things that are meat based. So you can have the same variety, but you're still missing out on the other things that you're not getting by not having meat, or that you're not getting by not having vegetables, or by XYZ. And that's just sort of where I am.
Absolutely.
But I've got the spirit though. Like I hear it knocking. I hear it calling, saying, don't eat that.
Mhm.
You
Well,
smell. Do you
that's the
smell
start.
that
Actually,
beef
yeah,
cooking?
you're at the end.
I know,
Eating.
I'm not opposed to it at all. And if I could get my brain
Right.
and my palate mature enough to get where I could actually just make a full switch, I absolutely would. I am not at all opposed to going on a full plant-based diet. I don't know if I could go full vegan because I like my moccasins. I like my leather. I do. So I don't know if I could
Right. Well,
necessarily.
they have vegan versions of all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure it's real cheap,
It
but
is
I'm sure.
basically an
What Myles go?
It is an absolute pleasure that I actually get to be in like an actual live stream, like an actual authentic live stream. It's an absolute pleasure.
Well, we've had a pleasure having you, my friend.
Thank
We
you,
certainly have.
Flatterhead, or the person who made this video. I don't know their name. Oh, Bolt.
Yeah, flat.
Bolt.
Walt Flatter
Walt.
Head. Yeah, that's Walter.
Oh, Walt.
It's
Thank
not
you.
just Walt. It's a whole team here that makes this thing happen. It's
What
actually.
is this called?
Oh,
Iron?
gosh.
Yep. Thank you, Cammy and Zachary and Walt and Josh. You guys were awesome. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Yeah,
Thank you,
other
guys.
Thanks
friends.
for coming on, guys.
Sleep well. Sorry to keep
Love
you up.
y'all. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you so much. You have great information, a beautiful, beautiful family.
Amazing family.
And
Oh, thank you.
it's just
I
really
just-
been a fast, bright evening. So thank you for sharing with us.
I know it flew by.
It did really fly by.
Anytime.
Hey, I just want to say one more thing. I've seen I'm V in the chat hopping around, just thanking me, just
giving a
saying
shout out?
nice stuff to us. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we love. IMD is one of our old school friends. Been around quite a while. Most of the
Yeah,
people there in
thank
chat have been around a long time with us, and they are truly our family. So, thank you
amazing.
guys for being here and
It's
sharing.
really cool you guys have built this. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
I seen earlier somebody.
Oh, did you exit?
Yeah, but
Alrighty. Well, thanks again, guys. And we're
Thank
going to be
y'all.
signing off now. And we'll see
All
you
right,
guys.
guys. I'm
All
gonna
right.
hit you up later, or in the morning, or tomorrow, or whatever. So
yeah.
Sounds good.
I may get off this chair for a little while. I've been here a minute.
Yeah.
Peace be with you.
And with you.
All right.
Bye.
Love you guys. You guys have a great rest of your night. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
hanging
You
out.
too,
with
Josh.
us.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Anytime.
You guys have a great night.
You guys have the link. It's the same link. Any Friday night, it's the same link you use. So
You
you've got
have
it
you
now.
have the eternal key now.
All right.
Awesome.
Hey, when you,
That's right.
if you
Damascus
see-
has eternal keys.
If you see these beautiful mugs up there, and you know what's up.
Awesome. Will do.
Bye.
And thank you guys for hanging out with us, tuning in chat. We really appreciate it. Everybody that didn't make it into chat or is tuning in after the fact, we do appreciate that as well. Always a good time. Walt, Zach, Kimmy, thank you so much.
Thank you, Josh.
No, it's my pleasure. Unfortunately, I do have to get a little overtime in tomorrow to make up for my snow day that I took.
So you headed to bed on taking that thing.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
It's been one long day for you. I don't know how you did it.
I don't see how he ever does these fucking Fridays.
Tis with love.
It is love. It
'Cause
keeps
with
you
love,
going.
is that right?
All
Thank you
right.
so much. Everybody there that was hanging out, you guys beyond amazing. It looks like we're going to have a special show going next Friday.
Ooh,
We're going to have our friend David M.
nice.
and Daryl Davis from Flat Earth Farms. They're
Yeah,
going to be over here, and I believe they have a little announcement. Daryl does there about something coming up. Not going to spoil it. I know you guys in chat already know, but yeah, be here next Friday to hear about that. Plus a whole lot of information about cultivation and just the whole 9 yards. So
Good.
yeah, it should be quite a powerful show.
We'll talk about the emotional space that's required to grow
Oh God,
cannabis.
yes.
Definitely. I like that.
That's it. Love you guys. Thanks for hanging out this evening. We will see you back here next Friday for more Have No Sphere. Until then, be good and be well. We love you. Bye-bye.
Love y'all.